The seals have been broken, and the devils are here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for tonight's next wonderful, joyous, light-hearted romp that is Concerto on Nocturne. It is for me, at least. I hope you in chat are going to enjoy it. I know I am. But first, before we get into tonight's show, we're going to go ahead and go around the horn, say who we are. Nope, that's at the end of the show. We're going to do announcements. That's that. I think we can go ahead and get into Super Happy Fun Sunshine Hour. That is going to be Concerto on Nocturne. Tonight's episode, I believe, is episode 13.
Ooh, lucky number.
Yeah, I think it's episode.
It's listed as 12.
It's listed as 12. Then it is episode 12 because I specifically copy and pasted it to change it. So we're at episode 12. Tonight's episode entitled Stitches and Scars. So I'm going to go through the list here. I'm going to find out what everyone did for the next 2 days, as it seems everybody avoided each other rather intently. Again, watch last episode to really understand why this got really awkward really fast. So we'll start with Chuckles. Charlie.
I was like, wait. And then I laughed and went, oh, that's why. Yep.
It's been, 1 week? No, it's been 2 days. In that interim time, I believe we discussed that Charlie went to seek solace in her protesters' friends. Correct? Jesse.
As she would try to at least find them one of those 2 days to talk to them and feel some kind of sense of belonging and liked.
That belonging was found, and we did some rolls off stream just to kind of get all that moving along and not spend too much time doing solo adventures for each character over 2 days. Charlie did something that she normally never does. Why don't you explain what happened when at that Wall Street protest the blue got a little aggressive?
Well, I mean, usually if you mess with my friends, it kind of makes me lose it. And not exactly in the right frame of mind to not really lose it. And someone with a badge got really handsy with a friend of mine and may have attacked them and drained them.
But not just a little bit. It wasn't a drink. It was complete. So Charlie had to call in a couple of favors to get rid of the body. Certain dump truck swung on by.
No.
Yes!
Oh dear God.
And it got taken care of.
Now I'm thinking about it.
And
The back and forth.
Charlie dealt with that over the intervening days. If I remember correctly, Luke trolled some sewers. You're muted.
Very stealthily. Troll the sewers.
I have revised somewhat my thinking.
Okay.
Oh, I don't care. Whichever one. Just give me that one. You'll see. There's a reason.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Luke goes from dive bar to dive bar. There's one in particular that he likes the best. That is called the Crooked Spike.
Okay.
Sorry, I apologize. Someone is gesticulating off screen, and I'm attempting to understand what on earth they're talking about, and I don't care now.
Okay. So he popped from dive bar to dive bar.
He's going dive bar to dive bar. Any place where there's an open mic and reads bad, well, not bad, but sad poetry, and gets rip-roaringly drunk.
Doing it the way Kindred do, and that's buying somebody else drinks.
Yes. I mean, I can drink it myself, but I've got a tube that just, like, leads out. But, because I like the taste, but I can't really do anything with it. You know, so right now it's Death the Leveler by James Shirley. The glories of our blood and state are shadows, not substantial things. There is no armor against fate. Death lays his icy hands on kings. Scepter and crown must tumble down, and in the dust be equal made with the poor crooked scythe and spade. I'm just going from bar to bar.
So we'll say he got down to half hunger. That half-point hunger mark. All right. And how about the ever-industrious Delia?
Oh, well, after that last display, uncomfortably hungry, she did her rounds at the hospital, helping other people and helping herself. And then, of course, she retreated back to her work, because the work doesn't stop when things get messy. And potteries have fallen apart before. Doesn't mean I stop working. So she's going through Lucas's work. It's a fine time to be introspective, but also it's a great time to quietly go over some books. And she hadn't had a chance to fully see how close Lucas had gotten to tying everyone together again.
Okay. Well, let's have a little bit of a research test. So this is going to be more of an academics using your ability to research. Intelligence, academics.
Alrighty.
If you have a research specialty, that
I didn't.
applies.
Thank God, because that roll was abysmal. I mean, it is for science. I could re-roll 3 of these ones.
Willpower.
Yeah, no, that's fine. This seems like a really fine expenditure.
You also got, everybody also recovered 2 willpower at least.
1. 3 successes.
Okay. Put down 3 little hash marks on that.
The mysterious page?
The mysterious page of hash marks. How many do you have total right now?
13.
Good to know.
I'm sorry it's not 12 and equal to the episode number, and that would have really been very pleasing.
So it seems Lucas was trying to look at the unconventional connection that the Voldere creates to help him find a way to rectify the damage done to the Tremere clan line. The assault on Austria sent a rippling shock through the clan, with all of them being bloodbound so tightly to each other, everyone being one step away from true enslavement. When that many elders of that prestige died at once in that firebombing of the Austrian chantry in Vienna, it shattered the Tremere ability to create blood bond. And it seems that the Voldere did have a little promising look to it. It seems that it did not rely truly on blood bond, but it tapped into something else. An intrinsic nature that all kindred share. It touched your beasts. So instead of playing on the inherent intoxicating effects of Vitae, it touched the beast itself. And that's what you have right now. But after 2 days of research, I have a feeling Charlie would be the first one to make the move to go back to the Chantry Sanctum beneath the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
She definitely keeps... She goes, and then turns around and goes, I don't know. Like, should I go now? Now? Oh, I have to go. Turns back around. Does that, like, several times before making it to one of the entrances and going, okay. I could do this. And just goes in. And looks out for any of this Home Alone shit that Luke said.
Timeline question. Has it been within the same week as the Elysium situation?
It's been about 3 days since that Elysium
Fantastic.
happened.
Cool. Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
That's all. Within 3 days.
Very bad time.
Oh yeah, it's been a rough 3 days.
I want to redo on these 3 days. Can I call Mulligan just to no one in particular?
The library's back wall shelving unit slides away and Charlie comes back in. Delia sitting over the table, mulling over the books that have been laid out, knowing that no one was going to be around. She could take up all the desk space she wanted.
Oh no. It's a mess.
There's no table. It's book. It is book with legs.
There may be the occasional, like, lagoon of mugs that stink of black coffee.
Charlie like has her little messed up backpack with her stuff in it. Because she didn't stop at the Haven first, she just went right here with her stuff, like her overnight shit. And just goes to go to the plants for like a second. She was gonna say hi first, but then like sees the books and just goes, wow, you kept busy.
Oh! Oh my god. Oh my god, you came back? Well,
Yeah.
I think I owe Danny money now. I'm not upset. I'm not upset. You're all tagged with bloodstones, and I stopped tracking once I saw everyone go off in directions. I thought, that was the direction everyone was going. Forever.
No, I just kind of figured we should all take time separate for a bit, and it helps me kind of think anyway.
Oh.
So.
I admit this is not normally how
kinda...
this goes for me. That I'm happy.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're happy that I'm back.
Just starts stacking some books a little bit and is like, get 1 sec, because the books had also now been piled in the place of the chairs sitting next to her. So the open chairs were kind of ways for her to categorize themes of books, like these are the books that apply to specific topics. 1 second.
Do you want my help? Thanks. Charlie just kind of like slips into the chair and like lets her bag like fall off her shoulder. It's just like, so what'd you find out?
Why, other than finding out that I have a very cynical outlook on the relationships I keep, I think Lucas is a pile of trash, but intelligent enough. I think when you were talking about the Fireflower's response to your beast, you had an incredibly intelligent thought with that, and I feel disappointed we got off topic and didn't follow that line, because I think Lucas actually felt the same way. It's not the blood, but our beast that the Volderi is interacting with.
Oh, I was actually on the right track.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, good. I'm glad. Well, glad? I don't know if that's the word I should use here, but I mean, it's still like, that's something like crazy to figure that a flower would react to us, you know? I mean, direct to some things, but in the environment, but not to. This is just weird.
I also tried to water the plants while you were gone. I don't know how they are. I'm not good with life.
I'll check on them in a second. But you always wanted to make sure you're okay.
Well, I'm glad it didn't escalate further than that. Could have gotten a lot worse. I meant what I said. I am not as offended as Luke. I'm mildly embarrassed that Curtis thought I needed to be having a playdate, but also greatly touched and very thankful that his taste was as good as it was.
I mean, when he was here, he said he can't really help directly, you know? He has to kind of be careful. I think I'm his way of being careful and still helping.
Luke can hear this conversation as he's gotten up to the shelving, or at least the other side of the rear entrance.
Shit.
Hearing Charlie say it's Curtis's way of helping.
You fucking...
I just walk over to the table and sit down and set my bottle down, set down my glass. All right, so what's our next move?
Whoa. Oh, that cork, man.
Rip headphone users. Sorry, guys.
Oh, it's me. My wireless is like.
You're
Anyway.
fine?
Hmm?
That doesn't look fine to me.
What's the question?
Oh, Delia questionably cried, "You're fine? You're back?
Of course I'm fine.
Of course you're fine. Right, yes, that's what fine looked like."
Charlie is just uncomfortably, like, shifting her weight in her chair and looking at her backpack and going through it like, God, let there be something that I have, like, I need right now in here just to break
No.
this weirdness.
You
She
know I had
grabs,
to-
like, a notebook she's just been writing in and just throws it on the thing, like, I'm helping! Yay!
I had to scrub the blood off my shelves. That's not what fine looks like.
I mean, I wasn't fine before. I'm fine now.
So, you have no problems with Charlie? No inklings to repeat the sprinkler incident?
I'm fine.
Yeah, that's...
Connery, how does Charlie's face look? Does it, like, completely heal, or does it have, like, remnants of... I got my jaw smashed open.
The fact that you drained somebody completely, you could heal yourself while that was happening. So, how many boxes of aggravated damage did you have?
5.
Okay, so you can only heal 1 per night. So, remove 3 lethal boxes and recover the rest of your bashing boxes.
Okay. Alright.
How many do you have left after doing that?
Okay, so
You
I
should
got
have
rid of 3.
2
1, 2, 3.
X's.
Yeah, 2 aggravated, yeah.
You got a little bit of scarring. It's mostly across your chest and neck.
My stunning looks, no!
You're mysterious now.
I
Yeah.
had to say something. Am I hot mysterious? Is that okay?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
You got stunning looks. It's
Yay!
obviously hot and mysterious.
Listen,
Excellent. That's all I want in life. Just to be hot mysterious. I have achieved my goals. I have peaked. I'm good. You're welcome.
So Luke definitely can look over and see the marks of his actions on Charlie. What did Luke take in the process?
Like 4 lethal, 5 lethal.
Then you have to, again, drinking at the same time, you can reduce those 3. You can reduce that by 3.
Okay.
Because the rule is that only 1 lethal per night. At least I'm fairly sure for your levels of blood potency. Give me 1 second.
I have the chart if you need.
As do I.
Okay. It's just, I wasted a lot of time on this imaginary, like, immunity thing. Very embarrassing. And it would be a real shame to waste more time having to teach you both math, should that happen ever again. I want you both here, but I also cannot have that happen again.
It won't happen again. Charlie's just doodling the flower in her notebook. She doesn't know what else to do right now. She just keeps looking at Luke, like, real quick, hoping that he doesn't also look at her at the same time, because that's always weird.
Oh no! Ugh. That gives my social anxiety shivers. Oh no, too real.
So Luke is just sitting there with his drink.
I understand that does not heal overnight, nor as quickly as our wounds, but just saying fine isn't exactly... where are you at?
Fine.
I'm gonna go check on the plants. Might
Yes.
be easier if I'm away.
Uh,
And Charlie just gets up
sorry
and
if they're
walks
all
over to the
dead.
hydroponics.
It's a hydroponics bay. You don't need to water them. So
They're probably...
Delia was literally just pouring water into the tank
I
that
like sprayed them, you know? I thought like the grocery store, they're supposed to stay shiny.
there's actually a bag of Miracle Grow next to the hydroponics and a spray bottle. Delia tried
Oh, that's on my tombstone.
2 days of Miracle Grow isn't going to kill your plants, but you know.
Miracle Grow also makes liquid.
Well, there you go.
Additives,
They do.
So
It's just Charlie's just like, oh, well,
Charlie, you don't have to go anywhere.
I have to handle these anyway, so it's
You should
okay.
sit the fuck down, Charlie.
It's looking at the table, just slides into the chair and sits down.
I'm not going to get into the entire history of who has or has not hurt me. Lots of people have. Every time it happens, I think, all right, great. I figured out the problem. And that can't ever happen again. You hit me from a different angle than I'm used to. Most people who let me down or betray me or do whatever, I could see it coming. I had an idea of who they were, who they really were. So when the inevitable happened, it was my fault. You acted on a weakness I didn't realize I still had. I thought I'd gotten over my need to help. So, thank you, really, for pointing out a weakness. One that I'm doing my best to not fall into anymore.
Luke, it's not a weakness to want to help people.
Leaves me awfully vulnerable.
What do you think I'm doing?
I don't know what you're doing, Charlie. I don't understand what you're doing.
Has Charlie done anything in this time to actually hurt anyone here? I know the circumstances of how it came out. God, it was quite the fucking mess. Really, truly. But
I would have liked to just tell you, like, in my right mind would have been really nice.
Yes,
But
but really, has Charlie done anything to hurt any of us? To do anything other than help us? The actual acts, if we really think about it, I know the situation feels unideal. But at the same time, from where I'm sitting, you're both hired, in one way or another, to be here in front of me. But that doesn't diminish the fact that I care for you both greatly. The situation that you were both procured and put here unnaturally, and in no way did I find you in the wild to be friends with on my own, does not change the fact that you are both my friends, even though you were placed here.
Yeah, but you knew I was placed here. You knew what my motives were, and you knew what was keeping me going and keeping me around.
Yes and no.
I didn't hide that. I didn't lie about it.
Oh.
I didn't hide any of that either. I'm also here to help.
You just
Regardless of
happened
who
to
else.
not mention the fact that you are working to and reporting back to one of the people who, in the end, we may have to find some way to deal with.
Oh, whoa. No, rewind that. No. The person who is funding our work, who has made it so that we could do any of this, who has cleaned up the city.
Yeah, because the people who fund research into the fundamental nature of vampire kind always have the best of intentions.
He could have funded Lucas, who wanted to bind everybody. Instead, Lucas is running around on a meat train across the city, whereas I'm looking to help people, liberate people. He has done nothing but good things. If he was the great villain you perceive him to be, who he chooses to back would be a very
I don't
different
perceive
cast.
him to be a great villain currently. I perceive him to have the great potential for harm.
As did you.
Yeah.
And Charlie's fucking terrifying too. And given an
No,
opportunity,
but there's
I
a
could
difference.
be as well.
I can punch you to death, maybe. I can get one or two people in a row. He's set up as a fascist dictator.
So your problem is that he's efficient.
I mean, if that's how you want to look at it, fine. My problem is that he has set himself up as if he is in a position of leadership, and that his way is somehow morally...
You know he was
better.
voted in, right?
Yeah, by a few specific electors.
And you know that he didn't know that the prior prince was going to die. Or not die, or be targeted. It was weird. For a very sizable time, I thought I'd accidentally killed a bunch of people. It's fine. The point is, intelligence wins wars. There's no way around that. That's terrifying to people who are not always in the know. But at the same time, that does not mean intelligence gathering in and of itself is naturally diabolical. He benefited from what I did, but that's fine because so did I. That's an exchange. That's symbiotic.
Yeah, I'm fine with you being willing to get down into the dirt with this guy. Whatever. But I am not. That's not what I signed up for.
What did you sign up for, Luke?
To protect you. And to protect Charlie, and that's why it's become clear to me that really that's the only job I'm able to do. If I'm helping either of you any amount beyond that, I'm contributing to something I can't justify.
I'm flattered you want to keep us safe, but I'm worried that you are trying to protect your own self in some way. Your choices, your fears about people are clearly biased. The thing keeping you up at night is Curtis, but have you thought a wink about all the people who are trying to reconnect everyone like the pyramid? Or does the thought keep you up that there's a bishop with a Reformation church now butting in, catching attention? Does the thought that maybe an archon could get a whiff about New York and come in with a real absolute monarchy?
Yeah.
That scares me. Protect me from that, Luke.
I think they should all burn.
And leave what? What will keep this from being utter chaos? You want to burn it all, everyone. Any sense of organization?
Yeah.
It's always fire.
You want us to have roving gangs. Just you know what?
need-
You know what happens when you get rid of organization? The weak suffer. People who don't have the ability to protect themselves.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Organization killed an awful lot of people who I care deeply about, along with several million more of my people. They were extremely efficient.
Just because people used organization in that way does not mean that every person who uses it will use it in that way.
Sure, it's a tool like anything else, and I don't think that it's something that we necessarily need. I don't believe we need leaders. I don't believe we need a government.
Should we
I
just
don't
avoid the entire
believe-
masquerade too while we're at it? Let's just abort that, because that's a rule. That's organization put in place by the people who are trying to keep us safe. Yes, it's an old one, and there's some flaws in it. The fact that I couldn't use my cell
By the
phone
way,
for a
it
really
gets
long
broken
time.
all the goddamn time, and it doesn't protect us from shit. That fucking mage knew who we were.
I'm sorry, I'm reeling at the idea that you think we should just abort the entire masquerade as well.
I don't care one way or the other.
Charlie
Lay
gets up
low
and goes back to
because
the
it's
plants.
you lay low because it's smart, not because someone told you to.
It's a smart rule!
Sure,
So that-
sometimes rules are,
So
but I don't
sometimes
think I needed some fucking prince to tell me to do it to know
Some
that it was a
people
good
do.
idea.
Some people do need to be told.
Let them die.
The thing is they won't just die. People who need to be told, sometimes their actions hurt other people. You know, like Charlie keeping their mother close.
Yeah, that was not bright.
So sometimes we need rules. Sometimes people need to be told, because sometimes it hurts innocent people, not just the person who made that choice.
Yeah, but it still did, despite having those rules.
Because someone decided to be punk rock and avoid them and just think they didn't apply to them.
That wasn't me. I followed all the rules.
You are a conundrum, Luke. Try not to set house on fire with me in it in the coming months. If you could.
We don't need leaders to tell us to do intelligent things. If you don't know what to do, natural consequences occur.
That hurt other people.
Sometimes.
So you're okay with innocent lives being hurt because you think rules are too, constrictive for you. The weak should figure it out because you're too smart. You don't need to be told the rules. So everyone else can suffer.
Boy, you're making an awful lot of assumptions there.
You assume that just because someone decided to start a war, that any instance of organization will have the same result. You're making assumptions as well. I'm playing your game.
No, you're not. You're working your way into logical pretzels. Look, I don't not care about innocence, but I'm capable of caring for them on my own. Again, I don't think we need a government for that. I don't think
Can't
we need
help
a
everybody.
prince for that. No, and the prince certainly doesn't.
He doesn't even like the term prince. Why are we even using prince? He literally made fun of it.
But he's still doing it, isn't he?
We can't literally turn into Mad Max on the streets. You know what that will get us? Archons. Do you want Archons? That's how you get Archons.
Your assumption that losing our prince would immediately turn into roving gangs is completely nonsense.
Nonsense.
Power vacuums are terrifying.
Sure, whatever. That's not how that fucking goes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You figured the world politics out then, Luke. You know what? Burn things down in your own time.
When
You don't have
there
to be
is
here.
no semblance of government, what happens? What naturally happens? You say it's roving gangs, but what I see over and over again is people who reach out to help.
I'm glad
When
your
I got
life has
out of
been
the
so
camps-
blessed that you only see people helping each other.
You fucking know that that's not the truth.
Well, that's what you just said.
When I said is that when there's no goddamn government involved, that's when people can do what they should do. But when there is a government involved, every fucking time, they rely on this moral shield that says, well, I was just doing my goddamn job.
Wow.
Conry, is there a spray bottle in the room?
You're standing next to
Yes.
one filled with Miracle Grow.
Yeah, it's got Miracle Grow in it.
Excellent. I pick it up and I spray Luke with it.
Oh, that's that water!
It's kind of green and sticky.
Oh, did it get on the
Okay.
books?
So, sure as shit, not the first time someone's tried to, erase me with chemicals. I'm a little confused
It's
as to
Miracle
what the fuck
Grow.
The wounds that you carry are monumental. Do something to heal them because, my God, they are eating you up from the inside and nothing you see is untouched by it.
I have a pretty simple way that we can handle an awful lot of our issues. I thought that there was some bit of common ground that we shared. I'm learning more and more that there's not.
I totally didn't hear that last bit.
I said I'm learning more and more that there's not.
Okay, sorry. I don't want to burn everything down. I want to build something that will help people. I don't know where our middle ground is right now, but at the very least, if I'm not worried about you trying to sabotage our efforts, can we all at least agree that it would be delightful to continue our base work? Or do I need to be worried about keeping you this close to us if you're going to be constantly planning to burn Curtis and his regime down? Nothing.
I want Luke to stay.
I want Luke
No matter
not to be
what.
trying to sabotage everything.
I know.
So that's what I've been doing?
No, I'm saying if you feel like it all needs to be burned away, the things that we're trying to build with the people that we're trying to create a team with, how are we supposed to feel about the security of that? You're worried about the Great Charlie betrayal. She didn't do shit to us, but I'm finding out that...
She absolutely did. This is what I don't understand that you don't get. She's a fucking conduit. Every goddamn thing we say is recorded.
Okay.
You know that he's got ways of getting any amount of information out of her, not just by asking her politely.
That's fine. There's nothing...
Yeah, now that we know, and I have the opportunity to consent to knowing what I fucking say around her.
What do you
Now
think
I
I'm
know
telling him?
I'm not safe in this fucking space.
What do you think I'm telling him? Everybody's
It doesn't matter what you
lives?
willingly say to him. He could fucking mind whammy you in an instant and pull whatever
How?
he wants out of there.
How?
The
How?
exact same way that she did. Except, intentionally.
Can he even do that?
Well, yes.
Dilly, can he do that?
I don't know if Curtis can. Danny's actually very good at it. Danny, you should be more worried about. Danny's highly efficient at the mind whammy. But here's the thing, Luke. I freely touch base with Curtis without a blood bond, without being mind whammied, because I want to be a part of that team. I want to be a part of that foundation. So I was going to say it anyway. I share my information.
Great. Well, great.
Are you saying
I'm
anything
happy to
you're
help
worried?
you because I like the two of you, and I think that despite your extreme naivety, that your heart is in the right place. But now that I know, I have the opportunity to be much more careful about what I say because I've seen the dangers of making plans or speaking freely or thinking that you're safe when there are agents among us. So,
Is that like a
fine.
weird jibe about the fact that I was a government agent? Because that. No?
No, although it is funny that you were, a narc.
My lord.
I don't. Look, I don't plan on telling everybody they're like, let's know everything about everybody. I'm not like a harpy or anything like that.
That's Danny.
I got sponsored to come here. Yes. I got sponsored to come here so that I can help. And when I was reporting, I remember some people turning to me and going, "Hey, did you tell Curtis that we found this yet?" So it didn't seem to be like, and no one was stopping me from doing that anyway, and you knew that I was bound at the time, which technically, in a way, I still kind of am. But I have the option of maybe omitting things if need be. I care about the people that I'm with. Literally, I am a Bruja, Luke, and you've seen me lose my shit over and over because my friends got hurt. That is our thing. That is why I ended up being Bruja at the time. It's because it fits
is very
me.
truthful. If anything.
Delia, you've gotten hurt several times, and I just can't stand to let that person walk out of the room.
I'm so sorry that that's gonna keep happening.
It's part of the deal, I guess. And I would do the same thing if you got hurt, Luke. I don't ever want anybody to question my caring about people in my life.
You don't
ever
have to want or not want or care or not care. Honest to God at this point. Hey, asshole. Prince motherfucker Poobah, what's it? I'm talking to you right now. Whenever you go sifting through fucking thoughts, you'll see this shit. I hope you die. I hope you burn in fucking hell. Like all fascists.
You do know there's not like a two-way speaker in my cleavage, right? Like, he can't hear you right now.
Yeah, when he next pulls you off the street and, has someone, root through your fucking brain, you'll find that, hopefully.
He doesn't have to. I'll let him know. You were so upset because you didn't know. Charlie has done nothing. And the big fear is that Curtis will hear what we have to say. Big fucking whoop. I was going to tell him
that's true. You did
anyway.
literally just admit that you're actually just going to freely tell him everything I say. So I guess there
what
really
are you
isn't
gonna
any
say?
point in my being here.
What? Whoa! Whoa!
She just said it. She
Whoa.
just said it. You said the words.
I said Curtis is not our enemy and I share information with him. Yes.
No, I mean a moment ago. Like you just said, I'll just tell him anyway.
Yes, you don't need to. You're so worried about the great Charlie betrayal because Charlie might talk to Curtis or be mind whammied by Curtis. Congratulations. If he really wanted to, I'm sure he could find someone to mind whammy you too. The affiliation means nothing. And even without Charlie, I was still talking to Curtis before you were ever a part of this coterie. That's nothing new. This fear is nothing new.
All you're doing is telling me that I was stupid for feeling safe the entire time. Which I kind of already came to that conclusion. So
no, it's feeling
fine.
This level
this shit is now business, and that's it, and that's all I'm gonna do. So what would you like for me to do to help move this shit along? What do you need? You need me to go punch somebody? You need me to read a book? You want me to hold a flap down while you fucking take a syringe of some shit? I'm here for it. I'll do it. I'm just not gonna, give myself emotionally over to either of you because it's not safe.
If you're that worried about me being whammied or something, it would be really nice if the first thing out of your mouth was, let's figure out a way to keep that from happening. But apparently that's not the concern.
Not anymore.
I'm not afraid. Well, why not anymore? You know what? I'm going back to my plants. And I just go back, like, Charlie goes back and just starts checking her plants to see, like, where they all are, and just angry science in the back. Mumbling. Fucking Steve, fucking...
Just angrily mumble, Steve. Oh, I did bleed on a few of them because I wasn't sure which they needed to be sprayed with.
Do you remember which ones?
I named, Florence.
Florence? Okay. Alright, got it. I'll make a note.
Okay.
Fucking Steve.
I'm gonna go check the traps.
Suzuki's out of earshot. I hope you get your ass caught in one.
It's such a juvenile, adorable, like, don't let the door hit you.
Yep. Pink.
Whenever it's convenient, Connery, is there anything in the traps?
No, actually.
It's a museum goer.
No Schlachta chilling out in their fucking tunnels.
Just with a mousetrap on its toe. Just stuck. Because it's too dumb to know that the mousetrap can be lifted by its foot. It just thinks, I'm trapped.
Why is this the saddest thing ever?
Because they sounded terrible in Redemption. I think that was the game. That was the very first thing you fought was Schlachta, and they had this weird sound. It was so bad.
Oh my god.
All right. There's nothing in the traps as Luke goes and ruminates while checking to see what his traps hath wrought. Delia and Charlie still in the lab. Still in the sanctum. What are they up to?
Angie science.
I love Engie science. I like normal science too. Delia kind of awkwardly shuffles over to where Charlie is. Right, well, I'm clearly very rusty having people talk through their feelings with me, but one of the things I thought would be nice, if you did ever return, I wasn't expecting both of you to show back up, so I didn't think through as far. You're relying on Curtis to find information about that company, and the Inquisition that hurt your family. And while I do hold you responsible to a certain extent, I'd like to offer to help look into the Inquisition situation as well. So you know, it's not just Curtis. We are, in a way, Curtis's resources, so it's natural that we help each other. Yeah. I just wanted to let you know I had Danny looking into it.
Thank you. Mom's all I had back home, you know, and it was like the only good memory left I had.
Well,
Yeah, she gets added to the metaphorical and literal pile, I guess.
if anything, it's sort of like being unshackled. Most of the people I know are really quite dead at this point. which makes it easier to focus on living now. And that life now is not the same as when we were alive.
The reason I really like what you're trying to do is because I just feel like that thought is true in a lot of ways, but it doesn't have to be in others. I don't want to just choose my friends based off of, like, are you going to live long enough? And, like, all this other stuff. I can't do that. I can't help who I like, you know? And who I get attached to. And now I have to be afraid for my, friends I met through my protests that, they're in danger. So that's fun. But I just wanted friends, and I don't know what's wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with wanting friends, but it is complicated in our situation, especially when you're trying to live in both camps. But something to consider is when you meet a new friend when you were alive, they had, maybe 30, 40 years worth of trauma built into them, and that informed their actions, and you would navigate to try and find friends who complemented and you both had similar problems you could bond over. The kindred are long-lived, and that means we have a longer list of traumas that you have to be compatible with and navigate through, and that can make it very hard to find your right friend group. It could be, you might go through some, and there will probably be people after this group that you're in now that you're gonna meet, and they're gonna be wonderful, and you can maybe make fun of us to them at some point. That is the beauty of the fact that we will see many, many more suns rise. Oh, no, that's wrong. But you know where my heart is.
Delia, I feel like you've had far too many people leave, and I don't want to be another one.
I don't need you to stay from pity, but you're not a bad face to look at. So I would hope you would stay around, and I hope we could figure out something with Luke. But I also know I would rather be alone than to be with people who you hurt. And while
I have a hard time being alone.
Oh, well. I mean, you could get a dog, but I feel like it might be too soon.
Yeah. I like plants right now. Plants are good. Plants.
Good news, we have maybe questionably sentient ones that you could hang out with now, so that's a thing.
Are they like my babies now? Don't think that's how blood works. Is that how blood works? You have to teach me some blood things, because I don't really understand it unless I'm drinking it or spilling it, apparently.
I had a pet project while you guys were gone. Needs a little more work, but it might be something fun for us to share another time.
Okay. But I appreciate you wanting to help me with the Inquisition.
It's a problem for everyone.
I was gonna offer this to Luke, but he's being a big jerk face right now, so I was gonna say that if it made anyone feel more comfortable, that if you just wanted to do random phone checks or something on me, that'd be fine.
Oh, I took your phone already.
Did you?
Yeah, well, you got mine whammied. We cannot call it that. We need to stop right now. No. We'll find a different word. But yeah, while you were hazy, I took your phone and I gave it to Danny to just check.
I can't even blame you for that at this point. You were already suspicious of me before it. It's very weird how we went from you were suspicious of me and Luke was sticking up for me, and now you're sticking up for me, and Luke is like, oh no, Charlie's evil and stuff, and now I'm just really confused.
We've all clearly experienced different interactions with this existence of ours. You were kept away from a lot of kindred society, and your opinions of kindred society is going to be different than Luke's, because Luke's clearly had a different experience than what I had. And mine was weird. Granted, actually, I was kept out of it for a little bit too, but the point of it is, I still think that there's a lot of beautiful opportunity and potential for New York, and I do not want to let any of this ruin the things we're working on, because at the end of the day, they are important, and it means a lot to me that somebody also feels that way.
I keep saying I'm here to help, and that's really anyway, whether it's scientifically or just being a friend, you know? I didn't know how useful I was going to be, and then it was like, hey, we found flowers stuffed in this guy, and I went, oh, hey, I know flowers, and now I actually get to be way more helpful than I thought I was going to be in the first place. I thought I was just going to be a mouthpiece. And I fucked that up, but you know, I'm really working on it.
Well, other things I should maybe warn you about if you are staying, at least staying, I asked Danny to combine your rooms.
You what?
It's just, well, first I thought you guys weren't coming back, because I watched, I was, remember when I gave you the blood pebbles before the Elysium?
You combined our rooms? Now?
It's, well, Danny was okay with it because Luke had just spent all her money on the security systems, so it was kind of economical, because then we could expand out a section of library. But I thought that it'd be kind of like exposure therapy, so that if you guys did ever come back, you would be forced to have to work out your problems instead of someone just sitting there and just brooding or crying or avoiding each other for several days on end and then not showing up for that time period. I just, wanted everyone to work it out.
We have a get-along bedroom? That felt weird.
There are bunk beds.
Oh, well, I like those. But still! Oh no. Okay. Okay.
Luke
It'll be
returns
fine.
at I like bunk beds. You're muted.
Nothing was in the traps aside from a few rats and some other things. I've revived the ones that could be revived. And
the rats or the traps? You mean the traps?
I meant the rats. Some of the rats were injured but not dead. Some of them were too far gone, so Samson had a snack. What's this about bunk beds?
Ooh, are you a top or a bottom, Luke? Bunk beds. Well, I guess you'll just fight it out, right? Well, it's okay, because it would be your room to do it in.
What?
Well, you've both disappeared for a really long time, so Danny and I, while we were taking bets as to whether or not anyone would come back, we decided to take one of the rooms and expand the library, because I had a bunch of books that were bloody and I had to bring them back to clean them. So we combined your room.
Ah. That's fine. I have my own haven, so,
Oh, that's no fun. That defeats the entire purpose of exposure therapy.
That's what you were doing? I thought you said it was because of your books that were dirty.
Well, well, yes, there was a lot of Charlie blood on my books, but
side effect of that is we get a get-along bedroom. Apparently.
With bunk beds.
Uh-huh.
So you guys
Charlie's
have,
like looking at her shoes and looking up at Luke like, oh god.
You have time to talk
Rooney."
You understand that I'm a grown adult many times over, right? I have my own place to live.
but it's boring, and then you can't talk through your issues there.
Probably really nice.
Okay, so what's our next step in dealing with this problem?
Which one?
The flower, the thing that we're actually here to handle.
Well, if we now know that it interacts with the beast, and it's not necessarily... maybe we can look into what element of the flower does that? I mean Charlie, probably you and Charlie can figure that out. I really am impressed they're not dead.
So, the flowers, did they change at all after our tussle?
Do they look any different?
Make perception tests if you're doing it at first glance.
Yeah, she's like, oh.
So wits awareness if you're just taking a glance.
Yeah.
Charlie, I think, is the only one that could really do a proper botanist's
Take like
analysis.
a little clipping.
One. They're flowers.
Them's flowers.
There's Florence. Look at you, Florence.
Hey, look at these fucking flowers!
Oh, the petals and shit. Fucking adorable.
That right there, that's called the stem.
Look at them petals, yeah.
Yeah, that's about
Go downhill real quick.
That's about the extent of deep description that you're able to get.
I thought I was just going to wait for Florence to mature a little bit more as I fed it, and then I was going to see if it was any different from yours, from Steve.
Can all 1 die successes on perception tests now be Jersey Shore-ified?
This is our special DLG gift.
You don't see fucking nothing! It's just a bunch of bullshit.
I hit him for 1 point of damage. Alright? Fucking felt it. Alright.
I hate and love this.
There's a good tension breaker for the table.
Oh god, I needed that so hard.
It's the job of an ST, folks. Keep the chemistry alive, alright?
I don't have chemistry. Oh.
Alright, so is Charlie looking to investigate further?
Remembering that we did like the little take a clipping and look at it and stuff. Charlie's gonna actually go that route to try to get a close look at it to see what changed about it.
Alright. Taking some stem cuttings, you're able to make some slides. Give you a good idea. Some wet mounts.
Snip, snip.
Because Delia has that shit on hand. Everyone loves a good wet mount. Science.
Science got the wet mount.
So I'll need intelligence, science, botany.
Yeah. Oh, my dice gonna fuck me today. Let's see. Go on. No. Oh, you. This is a botany roll. Everything I got has green or flower colors.
Listen, it could be worse. They could have called it a moist mount. Going for the alliteration there.
3.
3.
Is it possible to pull half guard in a moist mount?
Oh.
I don't recommend.
Just looking to slip past. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
It says 18 plus, okay?
Rated R.
Yup.
Okay.
Rated R for rar. What? I'm lying.
There isn't any specific... with all the frenzy that was going on around, there doesn't seem to be any specific change in the flowers. The ones that have received any kind of vitae as a additive, there's a slight change, like it might be beneficial in some way, but there's also the matter of there's always a razor's edge with adding with additives to any kind of growing solutions. There's a point where you could tip over and end up killing whatever you're trying to help. So Charlie feels like there's definitely an amount that would probably be helpful, but there's some fine-tuning dials that would have to happen that you're convinced that there's something more than just botany at work when it comes to that.
Well, this is what I got so far, but Delia, I think you and I are going to have to work real close on this, because it's, you know, at this point, it's kind of combination, you know, botany science and your all kinds of different sciences.
You for trying. I saw the effort. Hey, Luke, in the actual rituals, how did they employ the flower? Like, what as a component? How was it utilized?
See, that's the thing I'm not really getting, right? Like, normally...
Like, did they eat it?
No, it wasn't used in your average, everyday ritual.
Yeah.
Right? Like, my understanding is that it was used in either the really, really big ones, which I didn't really go to, or it was used to help kickstart the whole thing, to make the ritual work at all. They used it in the first ones, but I mean, my knowledge is pretty spotty. Connor, can I make an intelligence occult, or so whatever a related occult thing would be? To
You're trying to more asking what you're trying to figure out, and
whether what I just said was correct or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll allow you to make an intelligence occult test. I'm doing my very best. None of this conversation affects me. Like, face. This whole game. I was
3 successes.
3?
And a 777.
Mm.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Okay. You feel like you've stumbled onto something accidentally there. It's used to kick off the ritual. Then is there something that kind of lingers in the blood, in the vitae, after the ritual is complete? Is there something maybe because Luke had to have been part of a Volderi at one point?
Oh yeah.
Which the Volderi does a really good job of getting you really up on whatever the hell the Rite Master wants everybody to get up on. So is there something left over in Luke's blood? Because if you don't need it anymore, it must have changed the vitae along those lines.
So yeah, like they might use some of it, right? Like just prep the cup. And I don't know, maybe it makes it so that the stuff sticks with you longer. Because it's basically diluted blood bond, but with a bunch of people.
It's spread out.
Right. But it's also weaker. It needs more applications to hit the same level. So I don't know. You've tested my blood, right?
Oh, well, a lot of that I probably would have to revisit. I was clouded by the idea of looking at the Sequence K situation when I thought Charlie was a magical black sun being. I could probably, it's devoid of, yeah, we don't name things. Bureaucrats name them for us. Anyway, I could re-look at it if there's something specific we think might be there.
Well, traces of the flower, maybe, or...
Charlie, could you help me maybe identify if there's anything in there that would be related to the flower? I can definitely look in terms of the arcane nature of it, but I wouldn't fully trust myself for the botany angle of things, identifying the matter in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I see at the very least, like, you know, the plant does gain quite a bit from, you know, my blood that I gave it, but like anything that you could potentially use to, like, help grow a plant to be, you know, a bigger and better version of itself, there is that, like, point where it's too much and it basically strangles the plant.
Too much of a good thing.
So I'm still trying to, like, figure that out, too, but, I mean, in, like, a weird way, it's like a fail-safe. Strangely, like, something is too powerful, let's shut it down.
I am so thankful you lied to Grigori and stole more than 2. Just saying.
I felt bad ruining all those plants.
Your heart was in the right place. Mine wasn't, though.
So that actually kind of reminds me of one other thing to consider. Well, 2.
Ooh. Lay it on us.
Well, they were growing the flowers by the werewolf Karen for a reason, right?
Well, the resonance related to the beast, presumably our shared nature in that way.
Yeah, but what is a cairn?
Is it not a focal point? Oh, could it be used sort of like enhancement of the resonance? Do you know if that would function in any way?
If you made an intelligence occult test, you might be able to get a firm grasp.
Do I have anything in occult? Oh my god, I do!
What?
What?
I have occult! I fucking forgot.
How many dots? You had 2 dots!
It's like I forgot for, I don't know, 6 sessions that I had 2 dots in subterfuge.
I love you guys. Thank you for being honest, because
I've been like, I am the plant lady, and just been really riding that this whole time.
Don't you pose?
Man, apparently I'm the magic plant lady.
These are an illustration of Charlie, an embodiment of Charlie's assets.
I could be Poison Ivy. This is great.
Yes. I want that crossover art, thanks. Would this be psychoenergetics in any way? Such a big, open, fringe science situation.
No, your psychoenergetics... Psychoenergetics is if you're looking to apply the concepts of telekinesis or specifically energy manipulation in a sequence.
Only 1 success.
Alright, this is what you get.
You know a fucking thing.
Oh, my dog's pee there.
Shit. That's where the werewolves go walkies. No. It's...
I don't know why, but I imagine it as like a voice that shows up on like an intercom from all directions.
Okay. One success, trying to figure out. Yes, there is a degree of familiarity that it looks like they're using. The bee balm that does not get planted with it near the cairn does not have the same, would probably not have the same effect that one grown by the cairn would for the purposes of doing a ritual involving a beast. The beast.
It has effect. An effect. Okay.
An effect, yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't think they'd go through all that effort to plant it in such a fucking dangerous situation if it did nothing. That said, I'm not fully certain exactly how it affects it.
Well, so maybe we need to find our own whatever that is.
Well, we
And
already have the
try-
map with the ley lines. We originally used the ley lines to figure out where another place would be that they would be keeping the flowers. That's how we found, well, the hydroponics bay.
So maybe we should see if there's one that isn't occupied by a group that would like to murder us to death.
Well, there was the botanical garden.
Didn't you say that someone was mad about
Yeah.
stuff there?
That's Giovanni
What?
territory.
Oh, but he's already probably mad because of the bar thing. Well, not the bar thing, the product thing. The bar didn't matter, but the product did.
Yeah, but that got quashed, supposedly.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he won't hold a grudge, potentially.
Could we, if we're just trying to figure out
I
what
mean, I want to go.
we're trying to figure out the effect, maybe there's another way to replicate the level of energies. Another concern I have is well, we could look at Luke's blood and see what kind of, specifically any residual effects that we mentioned that. We haven't done that yet. Right? And that doesn't require pissing anybody off except for Luke. And he seems kind of pissed off already.
I don't mind. I'm not really... You can have my blood. I don't care.
Okay. So, let's start with what we have then.
In the
maybe.
meantime, I can try to see if I can Google map somewhere that's like very similar, like to what the plant needs to survive. There might be more places.
Oh, if you want to take the map that I created with the ley lines and overlap that might help narrow your search, because you mentioned before that there's a lot of greenhouses in New York.
Yeah, they're kind of all over. It's really surprising, actually.
Especially considering how many of the trees and plants we've uplifted in the years. So, you know, maybe we feel bad about it.
Yeah. Yeah, don't even get me started on that. Ugh.
There used to be so many more trees.
I'm already tired.
So many more trees.
Yeah. It just goes and takes the ley line map and starts Googling.
Oh no. Oh wait, I thought I needed... Oh, you're Googling already. Oh wait. So you just slowly
Google powers activate.
Okay, so specifically, how are you Googling here? Give me a rundown of how you're doing this.
So, what I'm trying to do is I'm looking at a map of, like, the city, essentially, like, on Google Maps, because it shows you where, like, there's green and there's blue for water and all that stuff. Knowing at least what Charlie may know about the area, and what she knows that the plants need to survive, she's trying to see if she can triangulate the best places for those flowers to be, like, put to gain, like, resonance, like where the cairn is, but using the ley lines instead.
Okay.
Or the
That
more
will be
potential
intelligence occults, and I'll let you add a single die because of the botany.
Yeah,
As though you had a
it's the
specialty.
Same roll. Same roll. Okay. You. Man, I should have made Charlie smarter. But I made her a mouthpiece, so here we go.
Listen, we need that. Have you seen Charlie and... Charlie, have you seen us in public?
Don't worry, I rolled a 69 again. I won. Thing I do.
It looks like the nearest connection that may be a growable place would be in the north of the city. Looks like maybe in the Bronx. After doing some quick research, and you find that the connection really butts up right against a small park right near Corpus Christi Monastery.
No.
Oh, does it?
And then the nearest one after that's probably outside the city.
So, like, New York State kind of territory?
Getting into New York State.
Or more Jersey.
Jersey.
Okay.
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay.
Although no one cares about Connecticut, so whatever.
Wow.
I've never met anyone from there, so I can only assume it doesn't really exist.
We know a magician from there.
They
do magic, so who knows?
It is adorable when they assume the tri-state area involves them. It's adorable.
Oh no.
Hey! Holy shit!
Hi!
There's a lot of people. Hey there, Raiders.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome aboard.
Oh, also, it's a good time for me to remind everybody we're 5 viewers away. If we have 75 average viewers for an hour, we'll play for an extra hour.
Mm-hmm.
You have the power to make us sit here and hold our pee.
Point of order, you have the power to make me sit here, but I cannot actually hold my peace, so this whiskey glass may...
Something wet mount?
Oh.
Officially taking the top bunk. Throw that out there.
Oh my god.
Get a long room.
Okay.
Thank you, Raiders, for coming along. All right. So yeah, that's your connection
Okay.
right now. It's 3 kind of spots. There's the Cairn in Central Park, that the Botanical Gardens in Brooklyn, and that small park outside Corpus Christi Monastery.
Okay. So, we got 2 places we already knew about for potential gardens, and there might be a third.
A third. Mysterious. Inform me.
We're looking at Bronx area. There's like a little bitty park there near a monastery. This seems to be a thing. But yeah,
What monastery?
Corpus Christi.
You
Does
mean
that
the one
ring a bell?
We're
Are you
supposed to go to meet?
That
is it the same one?
cannot be a coincidence. So we have
No.
planting grounds in the territory.
We're redoing research other people already did.
Are we? Oh.
Yeah, every time we find this, we either find Sabat or werewolves.
Oh, I was thinking of other things, but the intriguing element of whose territory this keeps landing on is something to keep in mind as well.
We were prepared, at least, as much as we can be.
Oh, research, right. You started doing the Googling thing, and I know that I didn't want you to lose your place, but you said that you would help me look at Luke's blood
Oh,
under the
yeah.
slide?
Give you as much help as I can.
Fantastic. Let's see if maybe there's something left over that could give us some ideas as well. that is at least something in Lucas's research I don't think he had access to. Maybe? I didn't see anything in there anyway, but there's still a lot to go through. There's so many, like, weird overtones that make me exceptionally uncomfortable as I read, so I usually stop, slide it over, go, and then get back. Not time.
That makes sense. Mental breaks are good. I'll help you as much as I can, like I said. And every time Charlie goes to smile, she stops. Like she forces it back down. It's mainly when she looks at Luke. It's like a...
So Delia kind of swivels her way over towards where she had been keeping Luke's blood and drops down a small amount of it from the main container and is like, all right, well, let's see if there's anything from the fire flower that we could identify within, or some changes. I realized at least now we have some range of examples in a different way than I thought. I will reassess if we need somebody else's later.
Sloane's nearby. Think about it.
That's interesting.
She's always in Central Park.
No, wait. I think Sloane mentioned something to me once about their blood being particularly strange, but I didn't get a chance to ask about it because not much of a talker, right? I frequently talk, and then their eyes kind of glaze over and they walk over to a cat, and so I stopped trying. But I particularly remember them mentioning something unusual, so maybe we should get that in the collection as well at some point.
I can message Sloane if you want. We can wait for a while and see what happens here, but
yes. Oh, should not leave that on the slide too long. Let's see if we could find something now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Science.
The next science attempt, as we are running lab tests all night tonight. There is a flash sale on Bunsen's.
For what it's worth, at some point Luke will get bored and go on a field trip.
You're telling me Luke is not interested in the cross-section of thaumaturgical magical study and botany?
Plenty interested. You can explain it to him on the car ride over to something more interesting.
Do you want to talk about politics again, Luke? You seem really tired. That'll wake you up.
No.
the flowers just go as soon as we start talking about politics.
All right.
Just one flower. That's all I want.
What on earth should we roll?
Changes colors.
All right. So this is going to be a similar test to before.
Okay.
So you're trying to distill a marker from the flower that could be present in kindred who have participated in the Voltairy.
Whereas Delia's looking at the any more occult different changes, and I think Charlie's looking to see if they can identify the flower element in anything, if possible. If there's any remains in
Luke's blood.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Intelligence, science, botany for Charlie. Intelligence, occults for Delia.
I'm also... I'm hungry.
Oh, you blood surge for this.
Yeah. Getting at... I'm so excited. The lab assistant. Everyone came back.
This is a good day, Delia. I got 2.
I got 3.
Okay.
Science!
Just high fives over the fucking... Yes!
I love this
We
so
should
much.
get
It's
lab
so silly.
coats. Like I have a lot of like gloves and stuff, but we should get lab coats with everyone's names on them. We could do like Sanctum Employee 1, 2, and 3, and we can get one for everybody.
No lab coats for me.
It's gonna turn you into like penguin thugs over here. Fucking 1, 2, and 3. All right.
Limited enamel pins. My lord. I think it'd be cute.
Uppity.
There is a strange connection, it seems. I guess you would call this one, you have sequence K for bondability. This seems to be a different one. So, sequence S. Or however you want to write it down, if you have a preference for how you're going to refer to it.
S is a fine placeholder until we know what it does.
Seems to be a marker of anybody who's been part of a Volderi. Because there's a connection between Luke's blood and the flower. Even though Luke, well, you'll have to investigate more to see if Luke had any contact with the flower before tonight. The flower itself, the main thing you're finding is that its resonance connects with the beast. The fact that the Volderi connects to the beast rather than connecting with the sequence K, the idea of someone's bonded nature. It's more subtle. It operates on a level just below consciousness. It's like a persistent level 1 blood bond to an ideal. Delia, you almost feel like it might even be a form of... It might even feel similar to the way some might use dominate. But this lasts. And you find out the true nature of the Kapala Fireflower. It's a carrier agent. It takes the bond and pushes it past the blood bond and pushes it into the beast and buries it there. The same way a virus moves past the cell wall and injects its RNA directly into the cell. That's the best, like, analogous way you could look at it, but it's happening on metaphysical levels that you had not anticipated.
If this applies to an ideal and there's something still there, how do you identify the ideal? How does it convey an ideal? Is it something to do with the resonance that it's at? Is it resonance-based ideals in the same?
Okay, is Delia asking, or is Cassandra asking
sorry.
storyteller?
You know what? It's one of her weird moments where she just like...
I didn't know if she was pontificating out loud to the room while Luke was getting his jacket on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that.
The answer
Absolutely.
to my question only brings more questions. What the fuck?
It's just Charlie's just looking at everything and what? It's just like a little ring. She says her face way too close to everything, but she's too into it. Like, science.
So, my only question at this point then is it, what was it, Saturday that we were waiting for the trip to the...
Ooh, the Black Mass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is today in game?
Ooh.
It is
Looks at phone.
it is Thor's Day.
Thirsty. I don't know why I said it that way.
Perhaps we should go to Corpus Christi to take a look for some flowers, maybe plant a few of our own if there aren't any, and to scope out the area before Saturday.
So go
Nice
and hope no one
familiarizing
notices.
ourselves.
Ooh. Sorry.
I mean, I agree with familiarizing ourselves with the area just in case. But plant our own, like plant the ones that are the controls?
So maybe, not all of them, but maybe a couple to see if being planted in that kind of an environment has any sort of a change. Then we can go back on Saturday when we're planning on going there anyway and collect them.
I mean, I like having the... I mean, if it's not all of them, what do you think, Delia?
Oh, I think the complicated part is, I mean, I love the idea of being able to test it out in the ideal nature, the environment we were looking at, but that is also very awkward if anyone was to walk out and find us knee-deep in their soil burying a very suspicious plant, and my social skills are in question on a normal interaction.
We live in awkward, Delia. We should just lean into it.
I like plants. I like roughly knowing what to do when things go away. I'm not good at improv. I kind of just awkwardly say words loudly in the moment when I have to, and they're not usually the best. So if we are going to do this, maybe we should at least think of like a reason or something we're going to say while we're there if we do have an interaction while we are gardening on their property.
Sure, you are a brilliant but mute scientific researcher, and we are your lab assistants.
If anyone is familiar with me, it's probably not terribly believable that I'm a mute.
Yes, but if they're familiar with you, that means that they're vampires, and then we have a whole different problem.
That's the
And
one I'm
frankly,
worried
one
about.
that's a little bit easier for me to solve.
Oh, so the mortals, very easy for me to solve. Someone from our side of things, not easy to solve. Please don't say you were just going to kill them.
I won't say it then. So we can just go and talk about our plan along the way. But I don't think we're getting much done at this point. Sitting here, I think we need some field research.
I like field trips.
Well, let's take a little bit of time to find out what they're gonna do, because it's about time for us to take our short break.
Our short field trip to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So, we return to the Chantry, where choices about what to do next are abound. Field research, or further blood examinations, more flowers. There's information to be had on many fronts. So it's more about where are you going with it.
Field trip. Field trip. Charlie wants a field trip. She also feels like fresh air would be really, really good for this group right now.
If you're all dead set on going out, I do have a few things packed that you might want to bring with you.
Oh. Okay.
To avoid
Like
the talkie-talkie. She goes over to the refrigerated unit and pulls out...
Is it a muzzle?
She pulls like a little Jurassic Park thermos and opens it up and is like...
Oh, it's Jurassic Park.
The thing from Target would be useful if we're gonna go garden in someone's lawn.
Oh.
Unless
The
we enjoy
Jurassic
the
Park
danger, and
thermos?
that's the entire reason why we're going out in the first place. I hope that's not it.
Ooh. Wait, what's in the thermos? Wait, hold on. Charlie just like comes over and like looks in the thermos, like, what are you looking at?
Oh. A shame I don't have any more bishop blood. It's I modified a formula based off of what Sloane had given me for the bishop. I couldn't suss out the weird zip zoom thing he does, but from that I was able to dilute out the capabilities of ceasing to be noticeable. The invisibility thing.
Oh, it's your crazy occult magic potion of insanity. That's really awesome. That I ran out of words halfway through and just ran with it.
Would we want them? So if we're going to try and plant in the garden of the area, maybe it'll help us be unnoticed.
Oh, I mean, if you're really worried, what you do is if you two plant, I can also distract everybody. I have my aw, look at me, like,
that's
over
very
here
showy
thing. So at least it'd be like enough to keep everybody off of, you guys. And I run really fast if I have to.
That's fantastic. Are there any weird planting procedures Luke and I need to know? Because if you're going to leave us to gardening, my dear Charlie, I need to remind you again of the miracle crow.
It's if I have to, I'll be helping though mainly, but that'll be my all people are coming like kind of plan. Connery, do I think there are any particular planting directions on this, or is it just like any other plant? Like, make a hole that's deep enough and just go whoop?
Definitely. You want to make sure that the stem is deeper for a stronger root structure.
Mm-hmm.
As the stem, once beneath dirt, will become part of root structure. So just making a hole big enough for the dirt and then collapsing it over isn't very stable.
Okay.
So it needs to be deep enough, at least 8 to 9 inches of depth. This is gardening.
So we're getting dirty.
There was a lot of freakiness and, go forth and multiply, all that kind of shit, right?
Once you're done burying the stem, it's more about choosing the proper location than it is final planting. Like, there really isn't much outside of that.
Yeah, you do have to be careful where you plant the stem.
Yep.
Wrong spot and piss the wrong person off.
It's true, they'll be really upset if this is growing somewhere weird. Is that not what we're talking about?
No, it totally is.
I'm gonna go get the Uber.
Right. I'll...
Charlie just starts scribbling down in like a tiny notebook, like a mini one, just like rough directions on how to plant. Like, you can follow this in case I have to leave. Sound good?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cool. Welcome.
She holds up the Jurassic Park thermos and then like, I'll still bring it. Even, I guess, if no one wants to use it, I will.
It's good to have just in case.
It would be kind of fun if I had an active bonded Volderi individual sample. She looks down at the thermos, kind of like looking almost a certain like pout to her. I used all the bishop blood, but they still are in the city. And I know we want a field trip too. I just thought I would contribute this idea to the pool. But Sloane would be really upset if we caused trouble without her, so...
Yeah, it's true. She's really upset. She really wanted to deck that guy really good.
I feel bad because I forgot I could have just grabbed the cane without touching it. It's fine.
Is that what she wanted? She wanted the
Trophy hunter.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh my god, that reminds me. Did we ever get the painting done of Grigori's butt to send to Alice? Oh no.
Can I paint while I'm sad? Can I paint a butt while I'm sad? That's like a real important question. It's like the saddest butt
Yep.
ever.
The sad little butt. But
Okay. So, backpack. Ready?
righty, 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 tighty. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, let's hope that we don't have to watch someone get mind bonked by Luke again. I hope it's not.
I mean, technically, I did the mind bonking to you.
Yeah, but I worry about our Uber drivers now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Fair. I still think that if we're going to stick to Steve, we should ghoul him.
No.
If you play favorites, you should at least give them the tools to survive.
I think it's just bad luck for that driver, personally.
It's not bad luck when we actively fuck his mind every time and call him up purposely to do it. That's just being vindictive.
We will continue talking about this as we leave.
As you exit out, Luke is standing on the corner waiting for the Uber to arrive.
Writing a very angry tweet about literature at someone.
He's got a phantom Twitter account that he just posts angry thoughts to.
Does seem like a Redditor.
Okay, first off, OOC, I am, and fuck you very much. Secondly,
It's on a business card.
Chad, you did not, it was not, I'm not actually angry. I was just playing it for effect. It's okay. Okay. I just hold up my phone and our ride should be here in 3 minutes.
Is it Steve again?
No.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind. I sprung for an Uber X.
Ooh, is it like, do they show up in bikinis?
I don't know how you'd get a bikini on a Jeep, but...
Oh no, I meant the drivers. What's
Oh, that's a very different car ride service.
what's the X?
It's a nicer car, and it's just us.
Oh. Oh.
Do you want me to... I can cancel this.
Oh, no. I can acquire strippers in my own time should I need it. Thank you, though. That's fine. I just didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what the X stood for. Don't look at me weird.
3 awkward minutes later.
With no further input from either myself or Charlie,
Just rambling.
Delia continues defending herself from an attack that did not exist.
That seems to be going around tonight. Anyway,
Goodbye. Did Luke drink that thing in the thermos already?
okay, where is Luke setting the address for this? Where did he set up this Uber transit location? Where's your final stop? You muted yourself out in the process.
Luke's not super sophisticated. I Googled Corpus Christi Monastery and then clicked on that, and then that's where we're going.
Okie dokie, front door action here.
Looks dead. Just like... It's fine.
Sometimes it's fun trying to figure out whether it's Charlie's thirst or Dara's thirst that is coming through.
Yes.
All right.
Everyone learned a thing today. Yay.
I can actually figure out exactly how long card ride would be from one to the other.
Yeah, you can. Can we please not have to roleplay the 45-minute car ride?
Oh yeah. This could be great.
Well, actually, I'm gonna force you to roleplay this whole thing. Because it's 17 minutes.
No!
Yeah, immersion. All right. I just think bikinis are really fantastic, and it's new, right? Not everyone used to be able to really wear those out at the beach, and like I certainly wasn't alive when it was acceptable, so I've never really owned a bikini myself. Charlie, do you wear bikinis? Not now, I imagine. That'd be terrible. No. Did you?
I mean, I wore a lot of them, actually, yeah.
That's right, you're so young. Oh no, I feel weird now.
I also got asked to a lot. So, there's that.
Charlie, were you an Uber X driver too? No. What do they call those?
A model. I was a model.
Oh. I can see it.
I don't know. Just was a way for me to make money, during school and after school for a while. So I wonder if I can find any pictures from back then.
I want to see pictures.
Yeah, I never thought to Google this. Just Charlie takes out her phone and Googles to try to find old modeling pictures of herself just because.
You know what? You know what to look for. That's the thing.
Charlene. Charlene the mall model.
So, yeah, what kind of photos are we talking about here?
None that are naked. She didn't
Oops.
do that. But, oops. I think the word we came back on was me going naked.
I can hear everything at least.
Oh, good. This is what I've been coming back on. Naked.
Naked.
Sorry, I'm getting a 360 image right now of the footprint of Corpus Christi Monastery. Like a lay of the land here.
While Charlie's Googling modeling pictures. Also, because you mentioned it earlier, I figure I should remind you both. You have like 4 more days of me knowing where you are at all times. So if we get split up again, and we can't see each other because if we use, and she kind of like holds the giant doctor's bag on her lap and like shakes a little bit, and if we use any of this and I can't see you, I'll still be able to find you. So we don't have to worry about that.
I think I missed something.
You don't remember the pebble?
I remember a pebble.
Yes. Prior Elysium, everyone was given a pebble and asked to swallow it.
Yeah, I assumed it was some kind of like discipline power or something.
Yes. It lets me track the person with the pebble, or the pebble. I guess when it's in a person, then I track a person, but still the pebble. It's a little bit of my blood mixed in with some magnetic filings, and I imagine you don't care what it's made out of, but I still have about 4 days left of it, so we could get lost for a sizably long time and I'll still be able to find each other. You don't seem impressed. Yeah.
Do you know precisely where we go?
Wait, what?
Do you know precisely where we go?
Yeah.
A GPS accuracy, or just like a general
Oh, we
that
don't get like a
away?
map. Please
Oh,
hold.
that'd be cool.
Driver's just sitting here like it's some weird fucking AR game or some shit.
Yes, magic pebbles.
There's a couple of weird ass LARPers in my car right now.
An unerring sense of direction and distance to the stone. Unerring. Whatever that means. I have an unerring concept about where you are at all times.
Like a pigeon has like the compass in their head or whatever? Is it kind of like that?
You have an unerring understanding of the distance and direction. So if you're looking at a map, you could guess where they are, so long as you have the orientation and the distance.
Yeah. Well, that's how I knew you guys were both going away, and that's why I kind of assumed you weren't coming back in after you left.
Do you like feel it when we move? Or do you have to like kind of actively like where are they?
I'm usually thinking about a lot of things at the same time, so I really have to focus in and think about it, really, to figure
That
out,
sounds right.
you know, like right now it's not impressive because they're sitting next to me, but at another time we could test the limits of it. I've never had anybody who'd be willing to just, you know, run off to like the edge of the city, be like, hey, can you heal me now?
Conrad, I'm spending for flesh crafting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm then going to reach into my stomach and pull out the pebble. Oh, shit.
In the car with the driver?
Yeah.
Are you doing this? Are you trying to be subtle about this, or are you just doing it out in the open?
I mean, I'm not looking at the driver. But so my thinking is, I'm capable of hiding like exactly what I'm doing from like the mirrors that he could see me from. But I also have a plan in case he freaks out or gets all shitty about it.
Gets all shitty about it. His reality shattering, that is.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess make a flesh crafting. Well, make your blood, your hunger check.
I am hungrier.
Oh shit.
Well, because you took something out of your stomach, so of course now you're hungry. You gotta put something back in.
What kind of vehicle are we in? Is this one where we're like Charlie's riding bitch in the middle because she's like probably the smallest one, and like is that how this is?
You're essentially
like
you're in an upscale SUV.
Ooh, nice.
So there's like a back and then there's a backpack.
No.
Okay.
It's when I say an upscale SUV, more like a crossover-ish kind of a thing.
There's full 3 seats.
Oh, I do love those. Okay. Because if there's a chance that Charlie sees this, I have a thing I would do, but I will absolutely roll to see if Charlie notices this shit happening.
If Luke is trying to be subtle about this, you need to make a composed. Double check the stats of the system you are playing.
My arm muscle is twitching. It's weird.
Oh, like that weird spasm where one part goes.
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, I get
I'm still doing it. Stop. It's in
I
my
hate
tricep
that.
for some reason.
Composure subterfuge, composure larceny,
Stealth. Composure stealth.
composure stealth. Okay.
Ooh, that's a lot of dice. Hooray.
And it will be wits awareness around for people to notice this is going on.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so I got 6 successes on the fleshcraft, 1 success on the composure stealth.
Come on. Come on. Ooh. Oh, that's out of the thing. 2 to notice.
Same.
The driver as well.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay. So if Charlie notices some Zemitzi shit is happening, and she's next to Luke, she is going to drape herself over Luke's lap. And pretending to, like, stretch and just being an annoying little sister type. Just like, oh, there's not enough room, and...
That's going to be charisma subterfuge right there.
Yay! I have lots of charisma. No subterfuge, but it's fine.
Because the driver's about to notice. Or he started to notice what was going on already.
Well. I'm gonna roll a willpower so this guy doesn't get fucked. Come on!
Hope he didn't want to remember his daughter.
Better. 1, which is better than 0, I was correct. 1 to drape.
As he gets to a stoplight, he starts to turn around in the seat. Going like, listen, I know... don't get undressed. What the fuck is going on back here?
I'm getting
You're
comfortable.
muted.
Sorry, he turns around and looks at us.
Yeah, he's kind of turning around because he was looking up into the mirror and noticed the commotion.
Okay. Keep driving. You're a hero. You're getting us to a hospital quickly because I'm in labor. Go.
What level dominate you using?
2. Mesmerism.
You're in labor. This is what we're going with. You have 2 ladies in the car. You're in labor.
Jilly just turns to look out the window and just watches the world pass.
Just double checking mesmerism. Because is that the one that requires an extended bit of like eye contact and conversation?
I have the full write-up. The vampire can issue complex commands to a victim as long as they have the subject's gaze and relative quiet in which to issue instructions. The instructions must be carried out immediately to the victim's best ability and must not contain conditional actions. If you see Henry, give him a document, as this would require the victim to exercise cognition.
You need to rouse for that, though.
I am not hungrier on this one.
It says I can say a resisting victim. So if somebody was on to what you were doing, they would not be ready. But I don't think this guy was prepared to deal with mental fucking attacks. You're in labor?
Sorry. I get so
No.
confused.
I'm double checking. You said...
Oh, you're asking what I said?
You're going to the hospital. You need to get there as fast as you can. You're in labor?
Yeah.
And you called him a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Spins around. Oh shit, I'm gonna get you right there.
Thanks.
And he floors it through the red light. I'm gonna make some driving tests.
Charlie is deadpan, lying in Luke's lap, staring at him. Just like, you're in labor? You
Got one. So he doesn't make contact with anybody on that run.
Oh god!
You start getting bounced around.
Holds the little, like, handle on the door as she continues to disassociate at the window.
It gets a little
Charlie
messy
definitely
as
smacks
Luke,
her head.
you're digging through your stomach contents.
Mm-hmm.
Some whiskey
no.
is kind of sloshing about. You can smell it in the car.
Sure. I did get 6 successes on that roll. For
You did. You are also in the back. You didn't exactly give me the opportunity to give you a difficulty on that one, though, since you are in the back of the car trying to hide.
Fair point.
So I'm not going to say, no, you don't succeed. Oh, I'm going to give the success, but I'm not going to go with the prettiest thing possible.
Sure.
And you're able to reach in and eventually find the stone itself. I see something else.
Oh. Jesus Christ.
Yep, that's going to happen then.
That's promising.
Where's
and now
my
the
tequila? Need it.
I mean, luckily he's not hitting anybody. He's just speeding. He's doing good a job at it, too.
Oh.
But you do notice the red and blue lights start to pick up in the rearview mirror and highlight around your heads. But Luke's got the pebble out.
Oh no. Charlie just straight up, like, in the seat, just looking at the little red and blue rave going on, just going, oh dear God, no. Are we getting pulled over?
And that means now we have to clean up all the cops as well, because... You feel better? Your tummy not upset anymore?
Here.
Thanks.
Connery, did any other cops see Charlie and what at the protest?
I assume Charlie was smart enough while at the protest to be wearing a mask.
Not because of COVID, but because superheroes.
It was Superhero Day!
I mean, some protesters are, always, so it's fine.
It's very true. She's a superhero for the environment. Yeah, she would have, like, been covered in some way, shape, or form, but she's still gonna be like, oh no.
You're freaking out. Is this not something you could handle?
She doesn't have an ID.
What?
She still hasn't gotten one.
What? No, we're turning the camera around and we're going to Danny's.
Driver, look at me for a moment, please. I'm in great distress and pain.
I'm trying to keep my eyes on the road. What's the...
I understand. Can you just look at me in the mirror, please? I don't know if that works. I'm assuming that works. I don't know.
I'm going to treat it as... I'm going to give it a roll then. Trying to bounce it through a mirror. From a quick glance. I'll do it as a roll. So it's going to be... if you're going to mesmerize again. Is that what you're going for?
Yep.
Alright. It's another rouse check. You need to roll manipulation dominate versus intelligence resolve.
Okay. I'm not hungrier.
I'm about a soaring leap out of this car.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
That's the proper response.
None of this is the proper response.
You said manipulation dominate?
Yeah, that's the power check.
Okay. I will spend a willpower, and this is the first time I've done that this game.
In the entire game?
Is it really?
Yep.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Dude, I fucking eat that for breakfast.
Is that a record?
3 successes.
Damn.
I'm just usually okay with the results.
What'd you get?
3 successes.
3 successes. All right, barely works. I got 2 on my end. He glances into the mirror for a second. You're able to catch eye contact.
Forget the last 10 minutes. I'm not pregnant. We're just some drunks in the back seat. You were going fast because you wanted us out of your car as quickly as possible. Slow down for the police. Be polite.
All right.
We have to be drunk.
He has a blank stare for a couple of seconds, and the
I
car
have
starts to
explain
slow
the
down.
Smell of the whiskey.
He pulls over. You're maybe still like 3 or 4 blocks away. Like you just got off a highway.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no. That's got that beautiful view of the overpass.
Yeah.
This stuff. You see the stuff with the things.
The place.
Yeah. Some
The
adjectives here.
Fucking thing.
Excuse me, driver. I need
Bruckner
a fucking bucket
Expressway.
of ice.
So he pulls off the Bruckner Expressway. Thing is, it dumps right off onto Lafayette, which is where the monastery is. And he pulls over, and so behind you is the overpass. Double check. Yeah, behind you is the overpass and trestle. It's weird because the Bruckner Expressway has like a overpass and there's like a trestle. Like there's layers to New York. And he pulls over next to this just white stone building that you're fairly sure might be an adult location near the monastery, because there's a big sign that says Platinum Pleasures.
Maybe it's a music store.
Maybe they sell bikinis.
I'm
Yeah, that's what they do.
posting this. I'm not making this up.
Oh, that's wonderful. I didn't
I'm
realize.
not making this up. This is down the block from Corpus Christi Monastery.
Just where it needs to be.
Platinum Pleasures. Pulls over right next to Platinum Pleasures. It's in the Discord, in the Symphony on Nocturne channel, if you want to go see what I'm looking at right now. Goddamn. And he says, he turns. Would the 3 of you just get the fuck out of my car? He turns and gets adjusted. And as you do you go to get out of the car? You're muted, by the way.
Oh, sorry. I had drunkenly said, "Yeah, sorry, man," and then
as you open the door, there's a quick boo. Stay in the car.
I stay in
Julia
the
just
car.
folds her hands on top of the doctor's bag and just slowly looks over at Luke. So what's the play now? I want to get it
Play
right
along.
so I don't mess up the plan.
Play along. We're
Play
drunk.
along with what? What's our story? You thought this through. I know you wouldn't endanger our entire night's plan over.
We're being responsible because we partied too hard, so we have to get an Uber.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not acting drunk.
Okay. Don't.
Okay.
You don't drive.
It's New York, no one drives. That's fair.
So
You
after
should be the responsible one.
a few minutes, the standard let him sit in it technique. You hear the cop's car door open and close. There's a
Suggest you let that marinate.
little bit of light coming across the back windows.
Dear
You
God.
can see the flashlights out, scanning through the back. Getting close to the tinted windows, because it is an Uber X, so it's...
I know it's for bikinis!
You can see him kind of looking in.
I'm unprepared.
Yes, this Uber X that pulled up outside Platinum Pleasures.
You can't fool me. You guys are playing with me. I know.
He sticks his head to the he raps on the window, the driver. Driver rolls the window down. There, evening officer. This is do you know you were about 40 miles over the speed limit just now? Yeah, I was just trying to get these fucking maniacs to their stop so I could get them out of the car. They smelled they spilled whiskey back there. I think they're not following open canister laws. I think.
Oh, sorry. I was muted. I'm an open canister. I spilled it from me.
Spilled it. Officer? She like pokes her head through the window. She's slowly like lowering the window. Sir?
He looks over at you, blasts the light into your fucking eyes the second you do that.
Oh, optical exam.
He takes a step back. Slow down.
Absolutely, sir. I am so sorry. I have 2 patients that were released to my care. They are an absolute mess. This is so embarrassing. I need to get them home as soon as possible. They should not be out. I could show you my ID. I work over at the hospital.
It's a prestigious medical facility.
Tonight started off so deep and so raw, and now it's just.
I don't know a hospital in the city. That was really
Gobble Hospital.
Mad Lib's hospital. She actually does have a fucking Mask 3, motherfuckers. This is a real Dr. Smidge.
I'm aware.
Okay. I just didn't know a name. I'm sorry. I made a funny
The
sound.
turkey gobble killed me.
Listen, you're lucky you didn't get the dolphin noise. I don't know why that's my go-to.
He says, "I'll get to you in a second. You, license, registration." Goes back to the driver.
This poor buddy.
He turns it over. Says, "Don't go anywhere." Turns the rest to you. "Don't go anywhere either." Starts walking back to his car.
Julia takes the stone again and just fucking chucks it at Luke's face.
Could have waited.
Could have asked first.
I did! You consented! Everyone did! We were together! I'm sorry you forgot, old man.
I remembered. Remembered? You remembered? I remembered.
Wish 3 of you would remember your limit next time. The driver says from the front seat.
You know what? He's entitled to that. This poor boy had their night ruined.
I'm sorry. Charlie looks really almost distraught.
Oh, puppy eyes.
Like that over emotional thing that happens when you're drinking. She just leans into it. I'm sorry.
The cop comes back, walks up to the front window, driver's side. Gonna give you a ticket for speeding. That's the only reason I'm not doing anything more is because you're getting these individuals home safely. Don't do it again. I don't care if you got somebody puking in the back. Don't drive like an idiot. Yeah, you got it. Turns to the three of you. Take it easy next time, all right? Don't let your patients go out drinking. The hell?
That's why they're in my care. Alcoholics. The lot of them.
Yeah, he turns, walks back towards the car. The driver turns and says, "You're about a block and a half away. Walk the rest." You mute it again.
That's fine. How much is a ticket these days?
He looks down, reading it over for a second. $2.50.
All right. I pull up my Uber app and put in a tip for double that, so 500.
To cover the sorrow of the points on his license.
He just kind of looks at his phone for a second, and he's like, "Thanks, it's the least you could do. Now get out."
Yep, bye.
You're left standing next to a, Platinum Pleasures on the corner of Lafayette and Garrison. You can see across to the north, Lafayette continues on like a northeasterly direction. Tall brick building standing in the distance. Lit up. There's a couple of billboards nearby. And you're fairly sure that it's right along that road.
Church is up that way.
Backpack. Okay. Let's go. Quickly, I
Yep.
think.
The cop does that weird thing where they don't pull away right away. Like they got to do shit in their car first. And the Uber driver is just not going to pull away from the cop before the cop has gone on their day. So the two cars are just sitting there.
I hate this.
As the two of you...
Every once in a while, Charlie just stumbles and then keeps going. Like, I got it. It's fine. I got it. And, I got it again. Trying really hard to not look suspicious, oddly enough.
By being drunk. To
Yep.
alleviate suspicions. What
Yep.
a world we live in.
At least I know it's night. It's not day drinking.
So the three of you are going to start walking?
As funny as it would be to go into the place we're at, we should probably keep going.
Right, so we're looking to not necessarily engage anyone while we're here. We're looking to garden, correct?
It's like a
Yeah.
recon, check the place out kind of thing. That's how I took it anyway.
Ideally,
So-
we want an understanding of what the layout of the place is like for when we come back later, so that way maybe we, don't burn a historic building down or something.
Well, this is the way the night's going. We could do it tonight. Sure.
I mean, I'm
but
not
yes,
necessarily
we should-
against the idea. I also haven't ever been in an Uber that costs less than $300 so far.
Yeah, you keep doing that.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that.
You walk past a
It's just the cost of doing business.
Doesn't have to be like this.
you walk past like a rental truck lot with some corrugated steel on chain link fence. As you make your way along Lafayette Avenue. You see that large building across the street, and directly in front of you, once you pass that rental truck fencing, it's a pretty big lot, you can see what looks to be very I would say out of place for New York, but there's nothing really out of place in New York. You see the bricks, the laid old brickwork of monastery walls. It's about... They look to be like 12-foot high walls. The slope of the street going up, so the wall is horizontal, and then there's a bunch of cement work up, and then there's another horizontal piece, so it makes almost a step to the wall itself.
Like that shit while you're driving up the Catskills on the side of the road, where they're all just like stone steps before it's the "this is now dangerous" stone netting.
Yeah, you walk a full avenue's length underneath trees next to this wall. Anybody who's been in New York knows that the avenues are fucking long. Before you get to the nearest... It's not even a cross street, it's a T-bone street. Because right next to Corpus Christi Monastery looks to be a athletics field. And possibly a school down on the other side. But there's an old-fashioned gate that you could swear is made of stone itself, with some iron bars towards the top. The big L-shaped iron spike that gets dropped into the ground to lock it in place. And chains wrapped around the two middle portions where the bars meet between the two sides of the gate. And all you can see is the chain, as it looks like the lock is probably hanging on the inside of it.
I apologize. I was distracted by a cat. The gate itself is like big wrought iron bars, right?
Yeah, and there's even some of the brickwork on the gate itself.
How... Okay, so are there open slats, and if so, how wide are they?
Not, the gate itself is like 10 feet tall. There's about 6 feet of intermittent brick and steel work. It's almost checkerboard steel, and then like somebody built wrought iron bars and then picked spots to put bricks into, and then put a metal plate where the bricks weren't, creating this brick checkerboard-like appearance on the bottom. And then at about 6 feet, it becomes, you see the bars just extend up like bar-style wrought iron fencing with a slope to the top. And it's where it's at that 6 foot mark where the chains are wrapped around like 5 times that hang on the other side. You had to kind of make a little bit of a right, because the gate itself is perpendicular to the street. It's not parallel to the street. It's not like you walked along the street and you just, oh, it's right on the street. No. It actually turns in, and then it's facing the ballpark itself.
Juliet pulls up her phone for a second and loads Google Earth. Okay, so here's roughly the floor plan of the building, without us having to hop that fence, if there's any interest to anybody.
Oh, I like that. At least gives us an idea.
God damn. It is good to know what the stated floor plan is.
It's an aerial. They do like pictures from...
There's actual street view of the interior of the monastery.
Ooh! I love Google. Google's so fantastic. So much information just out there now.
Google sponsor us.
Google sponsor us. Julie will do a Google photo shoot for you. I feel like that's a masquerade breach, but Danny will fix it for me. It's fine.
Hey boys, check out my Google Doodle.
What the?
Google X.
So you can see on the other side of the... So you can see above the walls, the monastery itself looms. Large rose window on the front. Stained glass rose window. Facing the street. Pair of steeples coming up on either side. That classic French cathedral look to it. There's a small walkway that is parallel to the street. So there's walkway, small trees and brush, and then the wall that separates the sidewalk from the monastery property itself. At the gate, you can see up that walkway that leads to the front of the monastery. It looks to be... Let's see here. Let me get a proper... Oh, and behind you is Julio Carballo Fields. That big athletic field behind you.
Charlie, what part of this would be good for, like, the flowers? Like, you know, does it need certain sun that comes from certain directions? Could we narrow it down that way?
Yeah, it needs more intense sun, a little bit more of like a higher moisture content soil.
We also need to determine where exactly the ley lines converge.
That's the other thing. So...
Does Google have that information?
Well, Google didn't have that information, but I made the map of that information a bit ago. That's why we have this.
Are
you can
there
point
pictures
to
of
where...
water?
Oh.
If I could find water, that might be helpful.
No, but you do know that the monastery grounds take up a whole block. There is the length of Lafayette Street from Tiffany to the hell's the name of this damn street? Barretto. So from one corner to the next, the whole frontage is wall. And then it continues around the back side again. So you have a rectangle that is... Let me see here. Where's the scale? 100 feet.
Maybe they have a water feature.
It looks to be like the footprint of the monastery is 200 meters long and about 100 meters wide. 2 football fields by 1 football field.
So, where on the grounds do we think this is?
Well, the sun should come up from... She gestures, which... so you probably don't want anything on the side where it's all shadow.
No, it definitely needs more sun than that, and...
What I mean is, where is the crossing of lines?
Well, let's take all the pieces and put them together. If I could do it one at a time at least, I could start taking things out.
Sure, I'm just saying I feel like finding the intersection is the first thing, and then you look around in the area where it is to find where you can successfully plant them. But without finding the ley line crossover, you're not really finding anything, I don't think.
Of the ley line map that Julia had made before, how detailed was it?
It was pretty detailed. The problem with ley lines is that they can be chunky or they can be thin.
Depending on the flow, right?
Yeah, depending on the flow of the ley line itself. And it's... unless you're gonna get a dowsing rod out or maybe a pendulum to check, you're not really finding the exact location via your map.
Can't
But
you like sense ghosts?
Ghost? Yes, actually.
Could you
But
sense a
ghosts
ley
are
line?
different than ley lines.
well,
Is a
with,
ley line hostile?
give me a second.
Okay, alright. I'll give you a second. You tell us what we do, but that's fine. We'll permit you this. The players have now taken
You a
control.
second.
Don't take your shittiness towards me out on our poor GM, okay?
Joke's on you, I'm always like that. I'm just a shitty
No,
You know
person.
what? I'll allow it to be used. It's going to be a higher difficulty, but it's not just ghosts.
Yes.
Or
It can be used for other things like discipline uses, right? I believe.
yes, I'm going to basically use it as a, if you can use it with the right die roll and high enough, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's not a great roll, but I could try.
It's wits auspex, and it's going to be -3 for difficulty.
It leaves me with a singular
Spend some
hunger
bonus
die.
points.
Oh, how many bonus points? I can use up to 3.
You can use up to 3.
Right. You could just counteract the difficulty modifier.
be fine with
That
it.
will leave me with 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. I'm absolutely terrible at this. Give me a minute. I need to figure something out and get my bearings. I'm gonna do, let's see.
Uh-oh.
Just
Hold
imagine
on.
Delia doing squats to like
Yes!
warm up for this. Like,
I promise you, that flat-ass girl has never done a squat in her life.
I like that she like pulls out of her purse like a little like a wooden panel with tiny little legs. She sets that down, and then she sets the map down, and then she pulls out a pendulum, and then like a little incense burner, and just slowly assembles this.
Right outside a monastery gate.
Yeah! I'm just gonna
Yeah.
put a cloak on while I do
Not
it.
suspicious at all. Here, hold this dagger.
it's a picnic. We're having a picnic. It's fine. We're having a
Yeah.
picnic.
All right, Luke, I need you
Pulls
to
out
hold
a
this
squirrel.
torch.
She pulls out a squirrel and an afame, and it's just like, don't look.
Give me a second. I need to.
Yeah, that's the other question. How are you? Are you just kind of standing near the gate? Or are you? I need this in my head because I don't want to just say,
Are there security cameras, Conray? I'm looking for
well,
them.
that could be something that you could look for.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm looking for them.
Wits awareness.
Do I have anything I can help here? I could eat food. It's helpful.
3.
3? Yeah, there's security cameras.
Okay,
Oof.
so our goal then would be to shuffle ourselves down the way where there are not security cameras.
You're at the gate, so the only 2 ways to shuffle would be either back the direction you came or down the length of the fields. Because there is, like I said, the athletic fields right next to the monastery.
Are the fields lit up?
Yes.
Wow.
Is there a game? Or are they just lit?
It's called not wanting people to show up and just hang out in the middle of the fields.
Yeah.
So they keep them lit at all times to...
It's telling about the area.
I didn't know if there was like a football game or
It's
something
called
happening.
hostile architecture. It's a technique for dealing with homeless people.
Mm-hmm. That's why they put all those awful middle rails in benches and stuff.
Spikes next to buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Just so it's impossible to lie next to something. Yep.
Ooh, yes, we shouldn't be loitering in front, especially if I'm gonna need a few minutes. Well, if we go in the field, we're suspicious teenagers in a field. We could probably go a little further back and just at least be hooligans in the dark.
Fine.
I have been both of these things.
Yeah.
So you're going to head back down the wall the direction you came from?
try and like tuck in against some of
It's
the
just a
trees.
flat wall
Oh, son of a bitch.
between the wall and the street. It's sidewalk, and then there's cars parked on either side. But it's not beautifully lit, as there are trees that kind of hang over the wall
street lamps.
behind you that create shade from the streetlights. And you tell the people that are in the monastery that they have to trim their trees. It's
God planted these trees.
it's actually a point of like it has to do with like government treatment of religious institutions. Like it really gets into like
How do they file their taxes?
yeah, that kind of shit. Sanctuary and all that fuck.
Charlie just likes the trees. As long as they get to grow, I don't care. Just...
All right.
Yeah, so Jilly's gonna like crouch down by one of the cars, and she just like, and her form feels more heavy in the world again as she wakes and thickens the blood. Blood surge. I do the thing.
Did you hunger?
No. Four successes.
4 successes, so you jump.
No, I did the roll for blood sorcery. This is the Auspex roll.
Gotcha. Well, you already did the blood sorcery roll?
Yes. To step it up so that I am at because I have a limit up to
Do let me know when you make those rolls from now on.
fair.
Didn't know
Fair.
that roll had been made in the background there. Okay. You open your eyes, and you see that the ley line cuts across the street, goes almost right under your feet, travels right up to the door of the monastery.
Oh, come on. Well, that was well
What?
chosen architecture.
You can also see
Why?
that there's a cross line that runs northeast. And it looks like it bisects right in the middle of the monastery. But from the other direction. It's almost like holy institutions sometimes find their ways to places that feel ooh.
Yeah, well, it was probably no coincidence that Victoria's running in a holy institute.
And also that this is the second church we found on one of these intersections.
Yeah, still bad news is
And
it is
Third
directly
religious
within.
site.
We can't just skirt around in the middle of a park if we're looking for where the ley line would be most potent. But, with that said, how the fuck are they getting sun in there?
Grow lamps.
It's just the same way they did it in the mausoleum that we were in.
You looked at the floor plan.
Yeah, the
plan,
Google
though.
Earth thingy.
Yeah, they have 2 courtyards,
Oh,
and one of them has a greenhouse.
that sounds beautiful. Okay.
It's a monastery. It's not just a church.
Boy. He's oh
It's gonna be a little hard to go in unnoticed. Whereas
and
at least
Luke, you said there were cameras, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put into the Inner Circle Discord, because this is freely available Google Earthing that you can do to see
Yay.
the surrounding area.
I was thinking about it and I was like, nope, don't.
It's 100% in world. Like, this is...
Yep.
There we go.
bless you, modern day. Yeah, so if there's security cameras, even if all of us were to down, the special juice I packed in my purse today, that's not going to be enough to quite go unseen.
Ugh. I Where's the greenhouse supposed to be on here?
Do you see the
Wait,
gray
hold on.
shadows?
Oh, is it the big box or the
Yes.
small box?
The big box has the the big box has the actual.
Oh, look, the living room. Sorry. What is this?
It's also Chinese fried chicken
Oh.
just down there.
Okay.
Yes, it's in the central courtyard.
Okay. Well, I at least would like to get like a look at it to be like, oh, maybe I could spot the flowers from outside of it if it's clear, but I'd have to jump the wall. Not like I can't. I could probably do it.
Do any of the
You
trees go high enough?
It's
to
very
be-
jumpable, especially for Charlie.
Yes.
The cameras aren't pointed at the sky, they're pointed at the ground. If you can jump over from far enough away, they're not set up to see you.
Oh, so like if I start... Is there any building that even touches the wall that's like not the monastery? Like another one? I'm looking at the map, I don't see one, but I could be wrong.
Like, we're talking about, most of this is grounds.
Okay.
So you see the monastery building itself,
Yeah.
but the line where the fields go all the way down to Spofford and then back across to Tiffany, that square, that whole rectangle is the monastery grounds. There's a lot of space here.
Jesus. Okay.
Mm.
So
Lots
if
of
I can
tape.
get up a tree, I can
If-
maybe get on the wall?
You think you can
Without
get up a
being seen?
tree if you want. Here. This'll help for anybody seeing you in the area. Won't help for the security cameras, but if you could jump past them without the security cameras being an issue, then this should double down and make this easier, and you're probably going to be the stealthiest of us all.
Obfuscate, level
Hopefully.
2, unseen passage,
It's not like I haven't broken into places before. It's very serious.
I really want to ask how many places, but
Okay, it does not. Okay, so obfuscate does not fool microphones, sound detectors. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Silent moment.
Like, it doesn't fool electronic devices if they are recording. If somebody is watching live, they can be affected through the electronics.
Oh, weird. That's interesting. Delia, do you still have the sweatshirt?
oh yeah, I still didn't take the. I was hoping maybe I guess that you were coming back because I didn't unpack this yet. Holds out the hoodie.
Okay. Good. And Charlie takes the hoodie, takes off, like, shrugs out of, like, what she has on, like, the top layer, and hands it over to Delia and puts the hoodie on. And just... like Kenny from South Park, just as much coverage she gets. Like, alright, is this the plan we're going with? Are we happy with this plan?
Yeah.
I just want to scope it out.
See
We're
what
good?
you can get. But be careful,
Okay.
because we're gonna come back Saturday anyway, so don't make any unneeded risks.
That's also why I gave you my stuff, so I can't be recognized. And she just takes the whatever concoction this is, because I don't think she's had it yet. Just
Nope.
Throws
so
it
this
back.
This is Delia's handy dandy
home cooking.
distillation of obfuscate. What would Delia sympathetically
Oh,
brew together to
I have
create
the full
unseen?
ingredients list right here, actually, if you were so interested to ask Delia about
So
what's in it.
what's Charlie drinking?
Well, you'll at first it's like a delightful fizz of Pepsi, right? which is lovely. But it's got like a graininess to it because ground into it is little glittering flecks, which is beautiful in the thing. It's really pretty. Of ground down mirror and quartz. Unfortunately, it'd probably be very poisonous had you been mortal still, because within it is the silver of some mercury, and it's also got like a slight purplish sheen to it, kind of like that weird vodka, because it has like the novelty vanishing ink from the magic store.
It's the most unsatisfying hypnotic you've ever had.
Just slight crunching. Ever so slight crunching noise.
Oh, it's like being at the beach when you go to take a drink and it's just got
Sand.
You got some sand on the rim of the glass accidentally.
Yep.
It's the worst.
You know, I had thought it would be worse, but okay.
It's also my blood in there and a little... Yes. All of it has
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
I
as you
feel
drink
like
it,
our friendship has hit a new level. It's
need
fine.
you to make a rouse check.
Hooray! These always go great for me. Whoa! I got 5! God damn it. One day, I'm gonna do that not shitty.
At least it wasn't a
Maybe.
frenzy check.
The beast rumbles a little bit in your
Glass.
chest as you hunger a little bit more. And
Come on. Just drank a cup.
it
Give me
becomes a
one.
little difficult for Luke and Delia to keep their eyes on Charlie. You're always wanting to look away.
Do you still see her? I don't. I
Well,
can't.
no, but that should fill me with some sense of joy. I can't, Which means it's working.
And without much time passing, Charlie has, as far as Delia and Luke are concerned, well, actually,
Oh!
yeah. So I want
Shit!
Charlie to roll wits plus what is Delia's blood alchemy at?
3.
So wits plus 3
Okay.
against Delia's own
It's my own creation!
wits auspex.
What is happening? Oh, I gotta reroll.
Luke has no idea. Luke don't have auspex. Luke can't see through this shit. You're
I'm
muted
just
again.
watching all this happen and just going, okay, anytime.
Aha. Delia can't see either.
Yeah. I think it's working.
Yeah, she has vanished as far as you're concerned. But from Charlie's perspective, everything seems a little desaturated. And every time they start to look in your direction, they saturate back a little bit. And then they just divert their eyes entirely and start looking somewhere else.
Oh, this is weird. Okay. Alright, head in the game. Let's go. Just
So long as
bounds away like a squirrel.
so long as Charlie does not specifically draw attention to herself, she will remain unseen by mortal and kindred observers, unless those kindred observers happen to be able to see through that kind of stuff the way Delia can.
Maybe they'll suck like I do.
All right, Charlie's going to make that jump. You don't have to jump. You don't have to make a roll to jump over the wall. With Soaring Leap, you're able to just coil your legs like springs and leap,
You're probably very majestic, but we can't see you to appreciate it, so...
clearing the 12-foot wall with absolute grace. Let's see if you go through the trees, though. So it's Dex Dex athletics.
Death athletics.
Dex athletics,
Well-
death athletics, yeah. With your gymnastics specialty will help.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, if she saw a branch, she'd be like, "Oh yes!" I just want to grab and swing.
So make this check for me,
Hopefully. please. Okay, so death.
Dex
Oh Jesus Christ!
athletics.
It's spreading.
You're
No
not
death.
mages, you don't have access to entropy.
I mean,
No,
I could.
no,
There is a
no.
path for that.
I mean, life also can do it, right?
Yeah, it's efficient.
I got 2.
Got 2.
Yee. Am I rolling against the tree?
Like if a monkey and a gazelle had a strange acrobat child, Charlie leaps into the trees and swings through without making nary a sound.
Muggle.
Yeah. Definitely gymnast landing, arms up, palms out, just yeah, still got it.
No.
And
Now
then
I-
just very calmly goes forward.
So there's
looking
no
for the-
difficulty on this, but there are some
Right.
cameras. So you still
Yay.
need to make wit stealth test.
Ooh. Okie dokie. Okay. Wait, where are all my dark dice? Hold on a second. I got all dark colored ones. That one.
I need to use my
one.
shadow dice.
I have a dice for my shadow in my other, like one of my other campaigns, specifically for my shadow. 'Cause it attacks. Alright. Okay, so stealth. This is to be seen, right? So silent movement wouldn't help, or is this to also not be seen by people?
This is not silent movement. This is trying to avoid being seen by cameras.
Okay, I'm just double checking and making sure.
Celia turns to look. Do you think they warded the place?
I know I would,
But you can't.
right? But I'm also not in charge of a church. I'm saying that if I knew what words were and had the capacity to use them in some way, either personally or by having someone else do it, and I were also in the business of starting a church,
Oh.
then I would definitely ward it.
Jayla's just like, can't see.
Charlie skirts the visual cones of some of these cameras. They look to be on the corners of the front-facing building, as well as a few pointing towards the gate. Charlie's able to slink past these. The doors are closed. And to your right is the obviously the right side of the building, but to your left is where the field is. And you know that there's less building between the the right side and the courtyard.
Okay.
I will be right back. Here's the rest real quick. So it's Luke
Secret
and Delia
squirrel
that
mission.
stand outside.
Yeah, no, I probably would ward it too. But, I mean, not everyone could ward, and I wish I knew something about Victoria.
Delia.
Yeah?
Now that Charlie's not here, let's talk a little bit.
Oh, we're not gonna secretly kill her, are we?
No.
Okay. I'd be against that.
Look, I'm not happy with Charlie. I'm not really especially happy with you. But we don't have to agree politically to agree on the smaller issue of the purpose of trying to do this. I don't think that your work is a good idea in as much as, oh, hey, thank you, heart.
Oh,
To get us to 769.69. Double noise! I don't think that your work is an especially good idea, simply from the standpoint of what can happen if it falls into the wrong hands. And while you don't feel that our leaders' hands are the wrong ones, I do. But if I were to walk away and let you stumble your way through without putting in my best effort to guide you towards the path of least harm, then I would be a hypocrite. I wouldn't be able to do. I couldn't look at myself. I'm not going to agree with every choice you make. And it's looking more likely that I'm going to disagree with a lot of the choices you make. But that doesn't mean that I respect you less or that I have some kind of hatred or anything like that. It just means that I just want you to think a little bit more about some of the possible implications of what you do when things don't go well.
There are people who are already actively, before I even touched this, looking to enslave everyone. The pyramid's no fucking joke. And if someone's able to take that concept and apply it to everyone, and I don't spend every waking hour of my existence making sure that someone's pushing back against that, I cannot live with that concept. There should be a lot of concern, but me not working on this just makes it easier for people who want to take all of what's going on and make it work in the worst possible way. So I get that you're worried that somehow my work is now going to cause some horrendous outcome because Curtis may use it for evil, but I promise you there are people already doing that.
And that's where we agree. That's our common ground.
I'm sorry I didn't hear that last part because Conry's on the stairs and our stairs are about as loud as a boat about to explode.
I said that's where we agree.
Hold on. No, the stairs, I couldn't hear that.
Oh, okay.
What was that?
That's where we agree. That is our common ground.
I just can't exist constantly worrying that you're going to be conspiring against my team. That's the problem I have.
And my problem is that I didn't realize that there were teams.
That sounds like Grigori probably should have given you more of an idea before you got hired. I'm sorry. But it wasn't new information.
No, I suppose it wasn't. As I said, or what I'm trying to say. I like you. I like Charlie, though. Don't tell her, because I'm not ready for that yet.
It's fine, you guys. There's going to be sharing bunk beds soon. You can mumble it in your sleep. And it can come out that way. And then you can pretend like you're sleeping and you don't actually have to confront Charlie about what you say. I've thought this through.
But my liking you is separate from my distaste for the company you keep. And I'm capable of keeping those things separate. Also, for what it's worth, I think you've seen, I'm not a subtle person. If I'm working against you, you will see it coming because I will be knocking on your door or punching you in the face.
Punching
I
or
will
the
not.
door. Yeah.
I will not be working against you from the shadows or, conspiring. It will begin with me telling you I disagree with you, and then we will have a conversation.
We did that part.
Yeah, and we're making up now. Because maybe I am an old man, but I like to talk my problems out first if I can. We don't have to agree on everything. And we're not going to.
Back inside. Which direction is Charlie slinking?
Is there more cover in one direction than another? Did you say?
To the left, there are some trees, and then there's an open field. To the right, there is more trees because it seems like most of the grounds are either small sheds and buildings, growing areas, or like contemplation paths.
I love that concept.
I don't know if you're familiar with the way monastery construction is. There are a lot of places for the inhabitants to walk and contemplate.
Do a think. Okay.
Yeah, it also gives them something to garden and tend, and it's a lot of reflection time.
Oh, good.
Okay,
You're trapped
so
with your thoughts. That sounds like hell.
Oh, that's what Charlie needs right now. Is totally thought trap time. So the paths are where more trees are, right? Like
yes.
the thinky think paths. Okay,
yes.
That's the way she's gonna go because she wants to stay on paths so that looks like relatively normal.
So slinking around the right side and keeping close to the building.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie finds that there really isn't much. There aren't any doors going in on this side. It's about 6 feet of solid, well-placed, quarried stone. And then 6 feet above that is brickwork and those long, tall, main church stained glass windows.
Okay.
It looks like this might be on the side without the chapel, though, as the windows aren't as tall as the chapel side, and you can see 2 rows of them.
So 2 rows of what am I looking at?
Is beautiful, by the way. Those tall, they look, think of like a pointed double door, like a tall double door that comes to a point.
Okay.
The windows look sort of like that. They have a compass rose at the top and then have a split down the center. They look to be like, the windows themselves look to be like 4 to 5 feet tall, at least on your side.
Okay. Charlie takes like a half second to kind of like go, whoa, and like look at what the stained glass is, if it's like any like picture or if it's just like nice colors. And
Jesus.
Not in this light, you can't make it out. But there are plenty of statues.
Oh, yay.
In the contemplation paths. Just standing there, all of them doing that, like, that classic saint pose of, I'm holding my robe and holding my hand up.
Oh, like you do.
Everyone's hailing a cab while trying to stay warm.
They don't want to get their robes wet in the puddle.
Yeah.
They still get all. It works real good for getting cabs. Okay.
But there is one of the crowned virgin holding a crowned infant. There's one. There is one of Jesus in the classic, like I said, get in a cab pose.
Excellent.
There's one that is a full scene of what looks to be. It's a combination of the virgin post birth holding the child, but then there's also like a monk kneeling down, and then there's a dog bringing a stick. And there's an orb.
Orb! No. Abort. Go home now. No. You're in danger.
It's not that kind of orb.
Orb! No! Charlie, I loved you, no!
But these are scattered throughout, gazing into the night. They all have small floodlights pointed up at them, so they all have like a baleful campfire glow from beneath. Because
Spooky ghost stories.
Catholic statuary wasn't intimidating enough. They had to light it from below. You find that the roof of the building overhead is probably 25 to 30 feet above you. But you know that on the other side of the wall that you're standing on is more than likely the courtyard you want to look down into.
Okay. Sorry, I was doing the math to see if I could soaring leap onto the roof.
You should be able to.
Just to be able to tell if I could do it. It says equal to 3 times their potence level vertically. And 5 times potence level horizontally.
What's your potence level at?
I do a lot of my best work horizontally.
Wait, soaring leap only lets you jump. Oh, meters. That makes way more sense.
Yeah, it's alright. My brain went automatic feet because it's just what it do.
Yeah.
It will help you with climbing.
American. Yay. Okay.
If you wish to try and climb up. You could also try and climb a tree and then get a little bit higher. There are some purchase points that you might be able to kick off of. It will...
It was more of like a... Dara is wondering if that Charlie would ever be able to do this, just in case. I'm not here, I'm a gargoyle.
Oh, you be careful. That word means... Ooh.
That's a sensitive word. To two of the people, to the 2 other people in your coterie specifically.
Charlie doesn't know that.
Nope. Ah, the ignorance of you.
Charlie's too busy being sad at the dog statue right now.
My apologies. What was the word?
Gargoyle.
Gargoyle?
Oh.
Right? Yeah.
Said, Mister, I'm gonna reach into my stomach in this car. It'll be fine. I don't hear anything.
So... If you were to climb one of the taller trees, you could attempt to make a soaring leap jump from one of the higher boughs that you could get your hands onto a ledge to then crawl over the top. It's not out of possibility.
Delius basically explained a little bit that this is like if you don't make yourself horribly noticeable, then you won't be noticeable. So Charlie doesn't want to do anything too extreme if she doesn't have to.
You know Delia went through the window with you that time, and up the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very, simple movements, nothing, crazy, so...
No,
Charlie's
as long as you don't
be
draw... Well, no, the thing is you don't draw attention to yourself with loud noises, or running through the middle of a field, but...
Okay.
Jumping up the side of a building, staying on the roof, these kinds of things aren't going to break obfuscate.
Ninjas do it all the time.
I do want to be a ninja.
Listen, if Luke can grab a pebble and pull it out of his stomach in the middle of an Uber ride, you can make this jump if you want.
That's not the bar. Please, Lord, don't make that the bar.
Alright, we're going up a tree.
Please make the
Tree's
Ratatosker
happening.
sounds.
Yeah!
All right. I need. So this whole effort, I'm going to consolidate into one roll, so we're not sitting
Excellent.
here losing our shit.
Yay!
It is going to
Cool.
be a dexterity athletics test. Add your gymnast specialty, and it's
Okay.
going to be a 2 difficulty, so just 2 dice
Two. Okay.
taken from your pool. You also have 7 bonus dice in the pool, as well as you can blood surge to give yourself dice. You know, all those
You
fun
get 2
tricks.
if you blood surge, I believe. As long as you have the same.
Okay. Okie dokie. Let me see. Yeah, I'll do a surge and see what happens.
Are you going to waste
I'm not hungrier. Yes.
It was bound to happen.
Finally. Yeah, just one day. I didn't think it'd be today though. I never assume it's today, so maybe it will be today. Okay. Going up tree, living my best squirrel life. Okay. Oh, thank God there was at least one.
You got 1?
Yep.
You can re-roll for willpower.
If you want more.
Oh, am I greedy today? I think I'm greedy today. Let's use another willpower. Greedy. Greedy. Come on. Better squirrel life. I said best before. Even better now. 3!
Yay!
Now I have 3! Yay. I don't know what that was about.
Come try it. All right. Charlie leaps from the top of the tree. The tree itself shakes a little bit, but nothing that a large bird landing in the boughs would make.
I am a large bird right now.
Instead of grabbing on with just one hand, if you had gotten 1 success, Charlie's able to get 2 hands up there and plant her feet and pull herself up rather easily. You're standing on, let's see, what kind of tiling does this building have? Curious.
Your full flying squirrel act.
Yep.
Okay, so it's like that classic, it's kind of steep, but it's also that classic, like, tack down shingles that are like pebbly paper.
Okay.
So it's not great foot purchase.
Cool.
So I am going to
Taking it
need
easy.
strength athletics now that you're climbing up.
It's the same. Charlie is stronger than she looks. Is this gymnast too, or is this just like doing a thing? Ooh, I have a thing. Hold on.
A thing.
I want to see if it helps. I will let, obviously, Conrad gets to make this call. I have Cat's Grace, which helps me keep my balance on shit.
Yeah.
don't know if
Let me
that
see
helps.
this. Celerity, Cat's Grace. Oop. Are we giving a point back to the... So that was 500. That's a new... Looks like a newer viewer. Because you cheered 500 bits, you get to decide whether it's a bonus die, which the players get to use, or a beast die, which I get to use. Free. You automatically pass Dex or Athletics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yay!
And it's free.
And it's free.
Woo!
That's wonderful.
Charlie
Cat squirrel.
nimbly bimbly rushes up the...
Listen here, meow. You see me eating mice.
rushes up the side of the roof. Oh, it goes to beast without hesitation.
Ooh.
Damn. Okay.
Charlie reaches the top. Using hands at the peak to gain purchase. Looking down into the courtyard. you see 8 black-robed figures holding torches, standing in the center of the courtyard around an altar. And we'll get to what's in and on that altar next time.
Ah! No! No!
I was
Leaving
looking
you
at the clock
actually
and I'm like,
hanging.
okay, there's gonna be a thing. What's the thing?
That's it for us tonight. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. We shall be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. with more pirates. But for now, I have been Connery. With me, from the furthest,
Oh!
this cat.
Oliver and Zed.
A little bit closer.
Dara!
Right in front of me.
Sandra Lee.
And remember, until we see you again, always stay evil. Good night, everybody.